Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome back to the race. We have had a little bit of a server restart. We've just been getting things back underway. We've had some issues with stint timers, but everything should be sorted out. You've got me for the next 4 or so hours here in the commentary box. I replaced Mr. Raven, who has gone off to go do some other stuff. So in the meantime, you are left with my wonderful company as I pray and hope that my brand new internet connection isn't going to explode while I am streaming. We've got 21 and a half hours left of this marvellous race here. And we will be getting started again very, very soon. It's basically a little bit of a cheeky reset for some of the teams who might have struggled a little bit earlier on in the race, gotten a lot of damage. All the cars have kind of compressed and they are all bunched up together again, ready for the start of another race. Again, this race is in support of the charity Mind, the mental health charity. They're very, very close to my heart because they stand for a lot of things that I really do support. Mental health is a huge issue in modern society, so any of your donations are super, super helpful, and you can also sabotage the other teams, or even your own team if you want to be funny. Extra funny, I mean, by adding and removing ballast, as well as adding and removing these donation penalties. We've got 50 seconds before we get started and underway once again for the ACM 24 hours of Spa. Let's keep those donations coming in. We are currently up to £309.71. Let's see how high we can raise that bar by the end of the race, which will be around 10:30 tomorrow morning. Well, at least 10:30 tomorrow morning, UK time. Track is at 22 degrees and the time is 1 p.m. We're going to have a wet start to this race for the next half an hour at least. The track is going to be relatively wet. We're going to get underway as Joe McLaren in the Ferrari leads the way for the number 16 ACCI EMI Media team. Again, apologies if some of the liveries have not loaded. Awesome Sim Racing is currently not being awesome. We've got Petrosian, Dominic Korashavin in the Kutkar Audi in second place. Very, very striking, colourful livery. We've got Miso Stubner in the number 666 Kermit Motorsport. Let's hope he's not going to commit too much to these corners and he'll be able to make it through. The number 887 of Evgeny Silaev in the Ueno-san livery, which I assume probably has an anime girl on the side, but I can't see it because the livery service that we've been using has had a few issues recently. Currently, we have 57 cars on the grid, 2 of which are in the pit lane, which means we're going to have 55 cars properly starting this race. Well, I say starting. It's restarting. Stint timer was broken. That's the one. Yes. I think that the car on roof issue has actually been sorted out, thankfully. So if a car does go on its roof, it does not crash the entire server. We did just have an issue with some of the stint timers, so just had to do a little reset just to get all that fixed. I'll do my best to keep you guys updated with the information that is available to me. But as far as I'm aware, everything is nice and sorted out, and you guys are going to have me for the next 4 hours worth of commentary. It is a dismal day here at Spa-Francorchamps. We've got plenty of cars here, plenty of action ready. Okay, we should be back and ready for the start of this race. Give us just a moment while we try and sort things out. I think we're okay. I think we've got it all sorted. Yes. Okay. Welcome back, everybody. Apologies for that. There seem to have been some network issues on my end. We're going to get ready for the start of another fantastic race as we're going to get underway here at the start-finish line. We've got Joe McLaren leading the way, ready to get the race started one more time, and I think it's time to go into Helicam. We're going green to restart the 24 Hours of Spa-Francorchamps. Joe McLaren right alongside Cora Chavin in the number 30 Audi, going side by side up Eau Rouge. There's a little bit of contact, but they seem to make it through relatively okay, cutting the corner as much as they can. It looks relatively clean. A little bit further down the pack, cars scattered all across the road as we go a little bit further back to just keep an eye on the rest of the field. It actually looks like we've made it through okay, but I really don't want to commentators curse this. We're going down on the Kemmel Straight. There's some cars that are going off the road. The number 918 is also off. Joe McLaren still leads the way, coming through I think this is like I should have got the track map up before this. My gosh, sorry about that. We're going to go back in the TV camera as we see Joe McLaren currently leading the way. We've got a big shuffle all the way through, as we do have a few cars that have seem to have been involved in a little bit of a tangle here. In Lake Com, all the way down in P43, it's Jake Spinner in the number 793 Lamborghini. That car looked absolutely battered. Only about a minute in, and we've already had a really big crash. Unfortunately, I did miss it, but there's just so much going on. Going back to the battle for the front of the field, Joe McLaren currently leading the way. The drivers are going to have to be really careful as they will find the curbs quite slippery. We have had a spinner a little bit further back at Speaker's Corner, which used to be called No Name before they gave it a name. That is Busani for the Chimera Racing Team, car number 6, who's had a little bit of a spin. He's going to get back underway and try and catch up to the rest of the pack. Joe McLaren's still leading the way. The gaps between each of these cars is minimal, and it looks like we've had an off. That is the number 95 car of Daniel Castellano and the Oreo Panon Sabrina number 95 McLaren. He's still going, though, so it mustn't have been that bad of an incident because his car is still facing the right direction. He might have got pushed a little bit wide. The number 200 car also on the Kemmel Straight, seemingly a little bit. Well, I think they just came out of the pit lane. Number 77 has had a spin through those two corners as well. Now, I do need to get myself a the track map up so I actually know what each of these corners are called. You'd have thought I'd have put this to memory, but no, I was right. I was right. Those corners were called Les Coms. Haha. We've got another crash a little bit further back. I say a little crash. There's about 5 different cars involved. I mean, there's cars all over the road here through Brussels. I actually have no idea what happened there. Let's try and do a cheeky little replay as we make our way through. Looks like that Mercedes had a little bit of a network issue. The BMW tried to hold its brakes. He did, but all the other cars have just absolutely ploughed into it 1, 2, 3 times. Cars scattered all over the road. This is why, guys, if you see yellow flags, you need to lift. You can't just go flat out into a blind section of the track with a car still parked on the road. Gosh, guys, come on. We're going to look a little bit further up the up the grid as Miso Stubner in the number 666 Kermit Motorsport Ford Mustang is currently trying to chase down Pachenko for 8th position, with Randall just behind. Kulikov seemingly getting shuffled out of order, a little bit off track maybe there, as he's still got Pachenko just behind him, I think, or is that Stubner? That is Stubner behind Pachenko. Kulikov still dropping down the order, maybe taking it a little bit safe. We are currently carrying a few of these paid-for penalties over as well. Look a little bit further down. We've got Kim Se-yeon in the Max Hustle Mustang, which I must admit, I absolutely love how that livery looks with the South Korean flag. Absolutely fantastic looking livery. Very, very colourful, very, very striking, very easy to pick out. So hoping that the 444 will be able to make their way up through. Ferry Schroeder and Randall currently battling into the bus stop chicane. We've got the 111 just about making their way through around the outside, seemingly like Randall had actually just given that position up. We've still got about 21.5 hours left to go, so really there's no need to be fighting that much. You drivers seemingly having some internet problems and causing my position tracker to freak out a little bit. Oh, and Kim Se-yeon! That's Kim Se-yeon, unfortunately getting tapped around at La Source. Had a McLaren in his rear quarter panel, just trying to rejoin it safely. He's got every other car seemingly... Oh, and that's another Mustang in the wall, and the Ferrari as well. Not exactly the best example of a clean rejoin, but Kim Se-yeon and the 444 managing to make their way through. Kelly currently in P30, leading a train all the way down to P36 to the 555 car, all of whom are fighting behind. We've got Zemensky and Dayon currently fighting here. Spangenberg seemingly has had a bit of an off here at Les Coms. That was nearly a very, very unsafe rejoin. That has definitely scared off Zemensky, who's now been overtaken by Dayon and has Baltrisatis right behind him, looking up the inside of Bruxelles. But he's a little bit far back to make any sort of move. Zeminski probably is a little bit shaken up, nearly seeing that BMW reverse right in front of them, missing the apex there a little bit, nearly loses the car on the exit. That could have been a really, really big moment, but very, very well held. Baltrisatis is looking up the inside through the double gauche, and that Mustang, the black and red and blue, makes their way up the inside through double gauche. Very, very good move there. Not so much a good move from the BMW behind, who's now Sponjaminski's Mercedes off the track. A little bit of an opportunistic dive there. Again, I think some of the drivers maybe aren't that used to endurance racing and are treating this like it is a sprint. There's still more than 20 hours left to go. So I think some of our drivers Do just need to have a look. Ricardo Diana, ooh, barely misses one of the other cars. He's dropped down to P42 now. Mark Mass currently in the number 75. McLaren has just been overtaken by Hugier in the number 21, a little bit further up. If we're going to have a look now at the Chimera Racing Team, number 75. I don't have the nice cameras that that Kelly had. Not Kelly. That Raven had. So we're not going to see this livery in that great detail. But all I can tell you is I love it and I hate it. So thank you, Mark, for helping me fix the livery. Yeah, I don't really want to look at the car any longer. We've got a battle a little bit further up the grid between Ivanek and Fitzau, as well as Herman just ahead in that number 112 Lamborghini. Really is trying to get away from them. Again, the curbs are still very, very slippery, and we've got at least another 10 minutes of this rain before the rain stops coming down. We've got plenty of positions being shuffled around here. Number 69, Slow Shark Racing of Colditz. The Aston Martin falling a little bit further behind. Is now going to have to try and make his way up through the ranks. He's got the Mercedes of Dayon looking around the outside, and I swear I'm not cursed. I swear. But every time I try looking at an overtake, someone crashes. Dayon looking around the outside, and the Aston Martin seemingly forgetting where to brake, just takes Dayon out. But he's still going, thankfully. Don't think there's been too much damage to the Mercedes. It was seemingly a bit of rear quarter panel contact. It was a sloppy move. It was a lazy move, and more importantly, they lost more positions from not properly defending it than they did from just racing. So, unfortunate for them. Great for Dayon, who is now in P31. Palima and Kianel are currently fighting. I swear to God, I'm not cursed. But again, the two go side by side through one of the fastest corners on the track, well, there's really only one line through there. That's a bit of an unsafe rejoin there from Kianel, who almost got taken out by a flat-out Ferrari behind them. Palima is losing a lot of positions, but Kosian, the number 555, seemingly gaining a lot from this incident. We've got a three-way fight here between Schroeder, Cataldo, and Randall coming into Les Combes. The Porsche, again, a fantastic car in the wet. It has that way over the rear wheels that it needs to kind of have that grip in these sorts of conditions. The Mustang taking a very, very shallow line. We've had a spinner ahead. I think that's Kulikov, who has had a spin on the exit of Les Combes. Schroeder seemingly going a little bit wide. The Mustang hugging the inside of Bruxelles, coming now into Speaker's Corner. Schroeder is just trying to open that gap as much as possible. We've got Cataldo just behind, nearly losing it on the exit of the corner. The BMW there of, I believe that's Stubner, who has lost... No, it wasn't Stubner. I don't know who that was. I think that was a lapped car, a lapped BMW, who has fallen back down the order. Schroeder with a 5-second paid penalty in the Hexagon Nation Porsche. Looking a bit further down, we've got Yanis Astix, who has overtaken Herman in the 777 Lexus. Herman is now looking like he's going to get overtaken by a McLaren. Looks from over the inside of Piff Paff. Now around the outside on the exit, the McLaren gets that power down really, really nicely, coming into Malmedy, and that's the McLaren ahead. Oh, that's Campus Corner. Sorry. Again, I really should have done my research beforehand, but alas, I did not. Let's have another look again at some of these fights. Oh, hold on. Yeah, Herman and Castellana are having a really, really hard fight. Castellana looking around the outside of the bus stop chicane. The fight for P18 here comes the inside for the next part. Really well executed move, but Herman is looking for the cutback on the exit, putting down a little bit more power. You can see that dry line almost starting to form a little bit of the darker tarmac there, side by side now, coming into La Source. The number 112 Lamborghini braking, squeezing the McLaren to the inside, looking around the outside of La Source, trying to put down the power, but he does have those left-hand wheels on the slippery curb. Traction control might have been kicking in there. They look like they could be going side by side through Eau Rouge and Radion, but Herman, being very, very smart, decides to back out of it. Looking a little bit further down, we've had another off here. Let's get that in an instant replay as Kemba, seemingly coming through reasonably well in Bruxelles, touches that inside curb, gets the outside curb. Ooh, it looks like there's already been some cars off. Yeah, huge, huge incident, and cars just everywhere. People not holding their brakes and going flat out into a yellow flag. Seeing some common themes here, guys. Come on. Yeah, that's Kemba now in the pit lane alongside a lot of other drivers seemingly involved in those incidents. John McLaren has fallen back a little bit, and he's now fighting to try and hold on to the podium for now. He's got Silayev and Cheshire just behind him in the number 343 Mustang with known as the Bob Stallion Drunkards. Love that team name. Falinsky currently in second place has the fastest lap of the race, a 2:26.315. So he's really pushing quite hard to try and catch Koroshavin in first place. The Aston Martin just tucking in behind Cheshire, who's made that overtake. He knows that probably trying to go through Bruxelles to make that overtake, it's a very, very risky spot. You're going flat out through there, and there is a little bit of contact, seemingly underestimating just how much the car would move. Cheshire almost using that tyre barrier to help turn the car as he rejoins. He's lost a couple of positions because of that contact, now down into P6. Yeah, see, I swear I'm not cursed, but every time I seem to be looking at a fight, I'm just catching more and more crashes, which I'm sure makes for great viewing. But for someone who's commentating, wanting to look at some great racing, it is a little bit off-putting sometimes just to see how many crashes happen. But again, we are only really 15 minutes into this session. Again, for those who are just tuning in, we have had a bit of a server reset due to some stint timer issues. So we had to get underway one more time with 21.5 hours on the clock, which bunched a lot of our drivers together and almost promoted them to be super aggressive on the start, which ultimately has led to a lot of crashes. And within about 15 minutes, the field has already spread out significantly, with Koroshavin in the number 30 Audi currently leading the way, with Falinsky's Mustang not too far behind. Tilstovich makes a move up into P4 past Silayev in the 887 Aston Martin, who might be getting a little slapped wrist for that contact with Ryan Cheshire. I assume the stewarding team is going to be powered by Red Bulls tonight, or Monster Energy, or whatever energy drink. Whichever energy drink decides they want to donate the most to charity, which is what you guys should be doing. We are doing this race in support of the Mind charity. Currently, we have raised £339.71. We have got Serhii Kotikov, who's paid for some ballast to be removed. So as we look now, excellent. Okay, Sorry, give us just a second. Everything is a mess. I've not really organised everything properly. So yeah, the fight for the lead. Oh, Herman has had a bit of a spin. He's holding his brakes. Is he holding his brakes? I can't really tell. But it is it's very slippery out there. Herman in the number 112 car is going to be making his way back onto the track, trying to join as far away from the action as possible, which is the safest thing to do. Palima seemingly also having a bit of an issue there. Rejoins the track, seemingly free from any other issues that have happened. Tilstovich still has Silayev right on his bumper. The number 887 Aston Martin out for blood as he's trying to chase down the higher positions. Yeah, I think that is a common misconception, is that yellow flags mean that you should 100% be going flat out. We've got the XIV Lexus, the number 848 of Ivanik, having a little bit of an off inlay com, but uses that escape road to rejoin safely. We've got a lapped Ferrari on the inside there, who I believe that was Chowdhury in the number 4. Just trying to look through, but there's so many cars that it's kind of hard to keep track. Fitzo in the Formula V, McLaren currently making their way through the grid, just overtaken Caraxus in the number 71 Ferrari. We've got Kulikov just ahead in the number 52 Focus Racing team, leading this kind of train all the way down to P16, including Fitzau, Carakus, Astix, and Ivanik, in the Lexus. If we're looking at the top 10, we have 4 Ford Mustangs in that top 10 fight, as well as plenty of McLarens, a couple of Lexuses as well. It's really fun to see just how many different cars that are on the grid. Again, there's kind of a clear kind of favourites between different people. I think the Ford Mustang and the McLaren are probably the most popular cars on the grid. You can see the rain is going to start to die down over the next 10 minutes, to then there being no rain within the next 30. So we could see a little change in strategy a little bit later on, moving back up to the fight for the lead, with Falinsky still chasing down that number 30 Audi. They're really not letting up, either of them. They're exchanging fastest laps. The Audi of Koroshavin has the fastest lap now with a 2-minute 26.2. So the two are, very, very close when it comes to pace. So there's really going to be nothing between the two. Ivanik makes a move past Astix in what looks to be, I think those Lexuses in real life are maybe on the same team, potentially. But there are, of course, livery differences to help me differentiate the two. Looking down at P25 with Baltricitis and Kosian and Herman, who are all fighting for P25, the Mustang, which I assume is meant to be painted like the Unicorn, is trying to defend its position from the chasing 555 Ferrari behind. Again, apologies if liveries are not loaded correctly. Things on Awesome Sim Racing have not been very awesome. And Ricardo Diana has once again had another spin. It looks like that on the exit, that was a sketchy rejoin. Let's look at an instant replay there. He's chasing down the two cars ahead coming into Bruxelles. The Porsche really cuts off the McLaren. He makes a move, looking up the inside. Can't make it stick. He's just trying to follow that gap. And, well, he nearly takes out the McLaren. His right-hand tyres are dirty, and he's off. Yeah, just very, very unfortunate there. Went for a little bit of space that was going to close, and then that rejoin, nearly taking out that BMW. I bet that was a bit of a code brown for the red and yellow BMW that Deanna nearly took out in the number 204 Absolute Motorsport car. But that is just the way the cookie crumbled for some of these teams, unfortunately. I believe that's Vestringe just ahead. Kostyan and Mark Mass currently fighting for position. As much as I absolutely despise seeing the livery on that number 75 car on the screen, I do have to show it sometimes because, you know, it's funny. Mass down into P25. He opens up to try and get that really decent exit. He's over that yellow curb on the left-hand side. That's probably going to make the tyres a little bit more wet. You can see that dry line is still, you know, it's quite prevalent, but I don't think it's going to be there enough for drivers to start thinking about swapping their tyre compounds. But I don't think we are a million miles away from seeing a few drivers switching up their compounds. Artem Ivanov in the Red Bull McLaren, or I guess in this case a Black Bull McLaren because I can't see the livery, being chased down by Yamshikov in the number 992, looking for a move into Les Combes. The McLaren defends to the inside. Porsche looks to the outside. McLaren swoops over to take the racing line. He goes a little bit wide on the entry. Barely able to keep that Porsche behind. He is absolutely sending it out there in the number 992, who does actually have a 15-second penalty. Vestinge is falling a little bit further down the order, gets overtaken by the number 57. With Ivanov still being chased down by that Porsche. The gap at the front is still sitting around half a second, so need to keep an eye on that as well, as Kolditz has had a bit of an off there. Let's give that an instant replay. See the white McLaren is off the road, rejoins, going right over the number 69 car, doing very nicely to keep it on the track, despite the track race conditions coming through Bruxelles, and that McLaren just sent it from the Netherlands, it would seem, and spun him out, coming into the corner. Very, very safe rejoining, as you can see by the Aston Martin, just waiting for that gap before making their way back onto the track. He's now down into P37, so hopefully the number 69 can do a nice job, pull himself a little bit further up by the end of the race. There's still 21 hours of this race left to go. Castellano currently pulling into the pit lane, maybe doing a little bit of a gamble to try and get onto dry tyres, because it does look like the weather is going to stabilise and get dry within maybe the next 10 minutes. The track might be completely dry within about 30. The track still is around 22 degrees Celsius, so still not very warm, but maybe just warm enough to keep that dry line going. Falinsky has made a move, it would seem. I'm going to try and get that on a replay. Coming through Double Gauche, they go. There's a lapped car ahead of them, and I have a sneaking suspicion that this might be a reason why the Audi got held up. Seemingly, yeah, using that lapped car to the advantage, Falinsky to the inside kind of forces the number 30 Audi to the outside, gets held up by that lapped car, who moved to the outside very, very politely to try and let them both pass. But unfortunately, that sort of corner, there's really not that much room for cars to go by. So very, very strategic move from Falinsky, makes their way into P1, but that Audi is still about half a second behind. So this battle isn't going to end anytime soon. Brilliantly executed move from the 757 Motorsport Mustang. He almost took out Sim Racing Belgium team, definitely code brown for us. Yes, I will say from personal experience, it is very scary when you see a car that is parked perpendicular to the track that suddenly decides, I rejoin now, good luck everybody else, which unfortunately, it does make you have to react very, very quickly, and pray that you don't crash. Thankfully, no harm, no foul here, but it is definitely something to consider. We're gonna have another look at the Tiltify page, just to see if anything else has come through. We're now up to £389, with a fantastic donation from someone called Fresh Vein, FRECHVAIN, donating £50 to give car number 39 a lovely present of a stop-go penalty. Driving for car number 187. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you for your very, very generous donations. Let's keep them rolling in, and let's see just how much money we can raise for charity, because charity is awesome. Foxington getting out of the way seemingly gets overtaken by Polima in the number 74 McLaren. Richards. It was only a yellow flag because I think they were rejoining the track. The number 201 Legion Esports Ferrari making their way back onto the track. Fitzau overtaken by Ivanek for P13. We're going to keep an eye on this battle as well. I just realised my microphone was muted. That was silly. Stibner is just holding on at the moment to try and keep Pachenko behind. If we look back to P10's Nikolai Kulkov for the Focus Racing team, number 52, holding back there. Cheshire is in the pit lane, so he might be changing tyres. We can see the track is there's no more rain coming down. The track is damp, so Cheshire, as well as a few other cars, seemingly making some sort of a gamble here, trying to just keep things the way they are. And that number 204 is really just having a horrible time of it. As we're going to look now, honestly, I might actually agree with Diana in that this corner, Bruxelles, is one of my least favourite corners on the track. It's a very long, very open, off-camber corner, and yeah, just loses the back end coming through speakers, holds the brakes, thankfully, coming through, and keeps their eye out for other cars, gets off the track and rejoins perpendicular or parallel to the track, trying to, not crash into anyone and make the issue any worse. Felinski has opened up that gap at the top to over a second. Randall seeming having a bit of an issue coming through. Lecom now leads this train all the way down to P13, the 777 Lexus, chasing them down. We looks like Ivanek, sorry, is looking up the inside of Bruxelles. The McLaren shuffled wide. The Lexus making a very, very tidy pass there, and the McLaren seemingly not putting too much of a fight up. It would help if I could actually speak English while I was commentating. Yeah, okay. It is a very, very difficult scenario to be in now, as the track is damp, which means that there's still standing water, but there's no rain actively coming down to make it worse. So the water is being removed from the track faster than it is being placed on the number 93, seemingly having an off as well. We've got lots of cars in the pit lane to probably change up their tyre compound. Felinski and the other top runners seemingly not wanting to make that call yet. Tilstovic is still staying out. If we look now back to Leon Randall in the number 767, Scuderia Osiris Spaventare, seemingly not wanting to make that. Well, we're going to see if any of them are going to want to change their tyres. If I was in the position of any of these other drivers kind of in this train, I would want to try and pit. Leon Randall just completely ignoring the pit line and swerving their way in to get their tyres changed, it would seem. While other drivers who were kind of involved in that train wanting to kind of stick it out on these wet tyres for as long as possible. You really do have to kind of consider this gamble, what tyre to be on, as Randall... well, it says they're a yellow flag. I don't know why. They are in the pit lane. As getting on the right tyres early could allow you to undercut the other drivers. You do then have to consider things like the tyre pressure and just how slippery the track is. You've really got to drive quite carefully when you are kind of in that position, when you are driving a damp track or a wet track on dry tyres. You really have to consider every inch of the track that you're using, especially the curbs and how you apply the power. You can see that dry line really now starting to form, as we've got another lapped BMW that might get in the way of this fight for the lead, and might actually be a good tactical advantage for one of these drivers. The BMW really just not wanting to let either of these guys pass, even though they are definitely a lap down. Now looking into the bus stop, it seems like they have let them pass safely. Again, the BMW, I don't think wanted to let them by purely because it was not very safe to do so in that part of the track. It looks like there is a yellow flag through Eau Rouge and Radion, but I think that is just cars that are rejoining the track, unless I'm wrong. Yep, that is cars rejoining the track. And Tilstovich, there's a yellow flag there as well, but I assume that was just them coming into the pit lane. And I've missed the overtake for the lead. Let me just go back a little bit and see what happened. Making a look up the inside at the source, using those lapped cars to their advantage. The number 30 Audi manages to make their way back up into the lead as they come through Eau Rouge and Radion. They've still got Valinsky just behind them. It is an absolute mess with all these lapped cars around. But ultimately, Koroshavin in the car number 30 Audi is still in the lead. And a lot of the leading cars seemingly now making their way into the pit lane of the track has now gone from damp to greasy. And again, that yellow flag that you're seeing, I think, is just because cars are in the pit lane and things are a little bit strange. Car number 77 doesn't have the livery. Again, there have been issues with Awesome Sim Racing not being as awesome as one would assume. I wish I could tell you. But unfortunately, some of these liveries just decide not to show up. Yeah, my apologies on that one. You know, Awesome Sim Racing is kind of the only livery system that really exists for ACC, short of having like a Google Drive that anyone can put their liveries in. So, you know, there's never a perfect solution for anything. And I think, you know, Awesome Sim Racing does a fantastic job, but, you know, there's always going to be something. Koroshavin seemingly not wanting to pit either. There could actually be on the dry tyre, so let me just have a quick little look. Those are slicks, so it does actually seem as though Koroshavin was looking to kind of make that move. Oh, it was on those slick tyres, and it looks like we've had Valinsky coming into the pit lane there to maybe do either a splash and dash or to change their compounds. We have been going for about 45 minutes at this point, so a lot of the drivers are going to be looking at things like this in yellow flags here. Colditz coming into the pit lane. Wolf as well for Team Mod Esports coming into the pits. So we're going to have a quite open gap of drivers who are all coming into the pits to try and get their tyres changed at this point. Ryan Cheshire is currently chasing down the 666 car of Dekanek, who's currently holding down 7th position. Plenty of drivers still in the pit lane getting their tyres changed, including Valinsky and Caracas, who have both been fighting towards the top of the table. Sometimes not so awesome sim racing. That is what it is like sometimes, it would seem. We've had a few more donations coming through, with some anonymous donations trickling through, as well as Car16 very generously donating a drive-through penalty to car number 30. We're now up to nearly £440. So thank you guys again. Let's keep those donations running through. Let's throw a little bit more chaos into this race, because I think we need it. Castellana and Tomorrow seemingly not giving too much care to the track limits there. Basically going completely over it as they go through Arouge and Radion, holding down their positions. Just had Lee, the number 41 car overtaking the number 98, who seemingly is having a bit of a bad time with it, letting through a lot of the lapping cars, the faster cars, who are making their way through. We've got Mark Masson, number 75, being chased down by Bean, who is surprisingly not driving a GT3 Mini, but is right on the back of the number 75, trying to make his way through. Nearly had a Cadillac moment there, weaving his way through another car that was coming out of the pit lane, or maybe a lapped car from what I could see. So that gap has opened up a little bit more. Colditz now coming into the pit lane. And Pachenko has had an issue. Let's go back a little bit, see what's happened here. Coming into the bus stop chicane. There's a car that's already parked up, and wow, that was just very, very clumsy from the other McLaren, just reversing into the direct path of a car that was trying to just get by. Don't even know what to say to some of these instances. You know what? Just not going to say anything. The number 57 car makes their way past, I believe that's Yamshikov for P30 now. Simmons and Skorto currently fighting for P39. The DMF car seems to get Tashenko just by in number 848 Lexus. This DMF livery does look very, very striking. The black, pink, and grey with kind of those geometric patterns all over it look very, very nice. Big fan of that one. As KML has had another little bit of an off. Let's go get that in an instant replay. Looking up the inside of this Ford Mustang. Yeah, it's another lazy attempt at an overtake that just results in the car trying to make the move spinning, and the car that they were trying to overtake seemingly getting off scot-free. Colditz has returned to the pit lane for some reason, even though they were exiting the pit lane just fine. Pachenko's got Morev just behind him in the 887 Aston Martin, who's trying to hound him for P6. We've got the Mercedes just ahead, the Good Smile Mercedes. I believe that's Hatsune Miku. My weeb status is going to be taken away from me if I cannot correctly identify the anime girl on the side of the Good Smile Mercedes. I am going to actually have a look at that at some point, because I've quite frankly got no clue. I am uneducated, and, well, there we go. It's definitely Miku, and it's definitely a crash with Kim Daeon, a car trying to overtake them through Bruxelles. 2 into 1 doesn't go, and Kim Daeon in the wall, or Kang Daeon, sorry, trying to make their way out. Seemingly a fair bit of damage from that as well, because they've now pulled into the pit lane. Richards also seems to have had an issue. If we go back into instant replay, well, I couldn't really exactly see what happened there, but it looks like just got a bit of a swapper on and absolutely clouted that car into the barriers. Lots and lots of damage on that Ferrari through Bruxelles, and he's now made his way into the pit lane. Jan Blomen in the number 767 McLaren now up into P10. We've got Zach Webb currently in the 757 Mustang leading the way, with Picano in the number 30 Audi just behind, with Vaselli and the number 26 Karen Racing, or black Ferrari. Again, sure these liveries aren't meant to be black and are, very much well-crafted liveries made by very, very talented designers that I then just can't see because technology just doesn't want to work sometimes. Keep our eye on this battle here for P2 while I have a quick look over some of the comments. Yeah, I will try. Apologies if the audio is not very good. I was in a bit of a rush to get everything set up. Everything's very new where I currently am. Okay, so this should be a little bit better, and you guys should be able to hear me while I'm talking. The two cars are side by side now, Vaselli and Picano. Picano looking to hold on, coming through Eau Rouge and Radion. This can only end in tears if neither driver wants to let up. The Audi very, very intelligently has gone by, and that's a spin! It's a spin for the number 30! The number 30 Audi just having a bit of a wobble coming through Eau Rouge and Radion, actually losing the car at the compression. Yeah, spins himself around. Doesn't hit the wall from what I could see. The car still seems to be in decent shape, so that's very well held from the number 30 car. But that could have been absolutely disastrous for him. Vaselli now up in a P2. Picano dropped down to P5 with Panchenko, sorry, just behind. In the number 506 McLaren, who currently has the fastest lap of the race, who's now trying to navigate some lapped traffic here. We've also had some other drivers who have donated a little bit more money to have a drive-through removed for car number 30, as well as car number 757 having an extra bit of ballast getting added on with an anonymous donation. We're currently up to £439.71. Let's keep those donations rolling in. Add a little bit more chaos to this already very chaotic race, as I don't know why these yellow flags keep flashing up when absolutely nothing is happening. We're going to have a look now to Jacob Fitzau in the Formula V McLaren, number 567, being chased down by Espinosa in the number 50 Rover Racing BMW. Fitzau also catching up to Razette Dayton for Focus Racing Team number 52, catching up to what looks like another lapped car here, who again could be used to a tactical advantage by some of these other drivers, depending on how the lapped car wants to play this. It doesn't look like he's going to be letting up any time soon. The Garage 59 liveried McLaren holds on to the track position just ahead, with Andres Espinosa and Fitzau having a little tussle, going side by side into the first corner. It looked like Fitzau maybe got two wheels on the grass. There's a little bit of contact through the corner as Espinosa doesn't get the best run through. The two are going to be chasing each other through Eau Rouge and Radion, actually, as all these drivers are absolutely sending it over the curbs, barely keeping it within the track limits. cheering for car number 95. Car 95 is currently... That's car 75. Mark Mass having an off there. And there's another issue there. Let's go back and quickly get that in an instant replay. This is a variant of the McLaren as being involved in that kind of faster group that was behind them, seemingly maybe missing the information that the drivers behind were on a different lap to them. Oh, the all-black McLaren maybe misses their braking zone a little bit. He does not hold his brakes and goes right back in front of him to get absolutely T-boned through Eau Rouge and Radion. That's a variant of now back down into 31st position. If we're looking through, I'm trying to find car number 95. There, Dechkov for Oreo Palon Sabrina. The number 95 McLaren currently holding down 30th position. He looks like he could be involved in the fight for P28 with Thomas Kochian in the 555 DSDF team Ferrari. Going a little bit deep through the bus stop chicane, the two McLarens behind looking to try and make any sort of advantage from that as they can. We've got Rizanov and Fitzau fighting again, nearly going 3 wide. It is, I believe that's the Lexus who's went off the track there. That wasn't actually a Lexus, was it? That was a... I think that was Chowdhury's Aston Martin ducking out of the way there. As Espinosa holds down P12 and the number 50 Rover Racing BMW, with Fitzau and Rizanovs just behind them. Track is now in optimum condition, 24 degrees, 31 degrees Celsius. I'm going to keep our eye on the action here as I just make a quick change to some stuff in the streaming asset thing. To give us just a moment while I... Oh, no, that's not right. Just making some little adjustments here. There we go. That should do it. Yeah, well, it's not exactly professional, but it needed adding. Excuse me as I've not streamed in quite a hot minute. Keeping our eye on the action for P12. Zach Webb in the 757 car is well out in front by about 4 seconds from Vasseli, the 26 car behind. Cars are starting to spread out a little bit more as we're now an hour in to this resetted session, which puts us about 3.5 hours into the full endurance race. Number 30 car seemingly tumbling down back through the order. Now down into 6th place, and the McLaren that's just overtaken them has gone a little bit wide through Bruxelles. Audi looking to the outside of Speaker's corner, now trying for the cutback on the exit, coming through into Double Gauche. Doesn't look like he's going to go for that move. He's just trying to let that McLaren know that he is there and he is going to try and make any overtake that he can, looking for a really good exit of that double left-hander coming through now into Piff Paff. which is the most fun name of any corner on in this track. I believe it used to be called Leifania, but they recently changed it. So with 8 minutes to go until the next round of donation penalties come in, let's see if we can get some more going through. Now, as a reminder, you can donate money to the charity for today, which is Mind, and not only raise some money for a good cause, but also give other drivers penalties, remove your own penalties, and as well as giving and removing ballast to and from cars. Raising money for the for Mind, the mental health charity. Really quickly, I'm going to finish telling you about our charity after showing you this incident with a lot of cars all together. This is Bianchini in the number 204. This BMW seemingly is just a magnet for chaos, seemingly turning in way before the corner, forgetting that there was another BMW on their inside and clouting themselves into the wall. Unfortunate from them, but that car must be magnetic to crashes, as they're now all the way down in P29. Let's go back to another fight up here. So yes, Mind, the mental health charity. You know, mental health is a very, very big thing to think about in the modern era, where the world seems to just be getting smaller and smaller, and you know, it can be quite hard to cope sometimes. And I think speaking to someone and getting the help that you need is more important than ever right now. So, with Mind, we're currently raising money to ensure that people across the country who are struggling with their mental health can get the support that they need. Without the help of these mental health charities, you know, the world would be a much, much worse place. You know, we wouldn't be talking about these sorts of issues. And I know I certainly have been helped by talking about these issues. Not just in things like racing and acknowledging my competitive nature, but also just in life in general. I feel like I'm happier for it. So, this is your reminder. It's okay to ask for help if you need it. And the other important thing is, let's get some money. Let's raise some money for charity. And that is another car that is parked on the side of the road. That is Cola in the number 183, Sky Cola, which sounds like a delicious drink that tastes like clouds. But also, the driver currently behind the wheel of the number 183 McLaren, who makes their way through Bruxelles, clouts the inside curb a little bit too much, and loses the car, stalls it, holds their brakes, which is very, very good of them, gets the car going again off the track, and rejoins safely. Again, textbook rejoin. Thank you, guys. So again, I don't know how regular the intervals are. Oh, that is Cola spinning off into the wall. I don't think that was as bad as it could have been, because it looked like it was just side-on contact, but that could have damaged the suspension. They hold their brakes and are looking to get going again through Eau Rouge and Radion. Johnson seemingly has also had a bit of an issue in the number 74 Arachnid Racing. Currently down in P32. Scrolling on through our list of drivers. Number 57 is in the pit lane. Bianchini is now also in the pit lane. Wolf seemingly has had some sort of mishap through those corners and is quite slow through that section of track. We look now to the battle for P14 between Dayton and Isilovich in the number 111 Porsche. The track seems like it's going to stay dry for quite a while, the next 30 minutes. We're still overcast weather conditions, 24 degrees Celsius on the track. So a little bit more about our track. Spa-Francorchamps is the longest track by length on the Formula One calendar, and is also one of the oldest still standing racetracks in the world. To my knowledge, it has undergone some changes since its inception, but last year it celebrated its 100th birthday. The original circuit was built in 1921. It used to be a triangular 14.9 km track that used public roads between the towns of Francorchamps, Malmedy, and Stavelot, which you might also realise are some of the names of the corners. The current circuit measures just over 7 kilometers in length, which also makes it the second longest track by length in ACC, with, of course, the Nordschleife being the longest track, which comes in at over 20 kilometers of winding German countryside. But this is winding Belgian forest. So pick your poison. I know I prefer Spa-Francorchamps. That's just because I've got more experience here. So I am heavily biased with what my favourite tracks are. Mostly because they're just tracks that I do well at. Got Mark Mass in the number 75 Chimera Racing Team, currently being chased by Svidelkov in the number 911 McLaren. Just about a tenth of a second behind. Really trying to catch that slipstream through the fastest corners of the track, coming through some of the fastest corners now into the braking zone for the bus stop. Mass gets it stopped in time. Svetlakov is looking for any sort of gap that they can get, but Mark Mass isn't giving them even a moment. Oh, Johnson's had an issue here at Les Combes. Let's see if we can get that in a bit of a replay. Coming through Eau Rouge and Radion, actually, he's got the 222 McLaren just ahead of him. They're going side by side into Les Combes. He's got that wheel alongside as they head into the braking zone. And seemingly the 222 just didn't realise there was a car up his inside, turned like he wasn't there. Again, these are all issues for stewards, but I just thought, I need to show you guys these incidents that happen, because it's important to highlight that, this is a fantastic endurance race, but we can all learn. Racing is a learning experience, and you can only learn by making mistakes. So, by showing you these drivers' mistakes, such as Svetlakov forgetting to brake, that we can all learn and grow and develop as drivers. Mass just about keeps it out of the wall. There might be a little bit of rear damage for the 75 Chimera Motorsport McLaren, with Svetlakov just behind, still chasing them down for P18, but Mass holds on for now. Tachenko and Marchand currently having a little bit of a tussle here. The Lexus keeping it very, very wide. The front of that McLaren looks like it's had rocks thrown directly at it. Can't make that move stick yet. We've got Bianchini currently holding the inside against Simmons's BMW as they come through Les Combes. The number 204 Absolute Motorsport providing some absolute cinema, with the 77 car chasing them down to try and take P39 from them. As I come back here and there's been another issue. Let's go back to Svetlakov and Mass, who exit Stavelot. Svetlakov is chasing him down, and just seemingly drives into the back of him. Mass does hold his brakes there, it seemed, but ultimately the two have fallen down a lot of positions, at least a handful from that. Svetlakov is ahead of them. Mass is looking for a move around the outside, coming into the source. It looks like Svetlakov maybe gave that position up. They knew that was ill-gotten gains, and have let Mass back by to regain P19. Svetlakov still chasing them down to try and claim that position. Kang Daeon, seemingly there was a yellow flag there, but it must have disappeared by the time I looked. There's a car that spun at the top of Eau Rouge there. Couldn't exactly see who that was. They're getting back up speed now. It's number 93. As Svetlakov looks up the inside and Mass just lets them by. I think Mass was a little bit worried that Svetlakov was going to maybe crash into them again and just let them by. Again, there's still over 20 hours left of this race to go, so plenty of time left to get past and to carry on the fight. Sims and Bianchini now looking for a fight coming through Eau Rouge and Radion. Number 204 chasing down the number 77. While they are looking to navigate some of this other traffic up the inside of the McLaren there, and there's been another spin for Bianchini, who got a little bit caught up there and is now parked sideways at Les Combes. At least they are rejoining the track, I was going to say safely, until they nearly crashed into that other BMW that's now gone by them. Averianov and Samin currently having a little bit of a race on. Sim Racing Belgium, the number 98 car, was nearly taken out by the 204 earlier. Very, very striking livery using the colours of the Belgian flag, representing their country as they are currently in P29, so it's been a very, very good showing from them, and I'm really excited to see just what else they can do. The gaps up and down the field start to open up a little bit more. But we are going to go back to looking at this battle for P19. Davide Tamaro has Pina just behind them in the number 16 Ferrari. Two are very, very close to one another. Tamaro maybe might have had a little mistake that cost them a big chunk of time. Through the source, they seem a little bit slow. Pina now looking through, potentially through Eau Rouge and Radion to make any sort of gain that they can. Mustang absolutely mothering the curbs on the inside. The Ferrari really just trying to use that slipstream. Mustang is fantastic in a straight line, but using that slipstream, the Ferrari might just be able to pull themselves a little bit closer. It's 2/10 the gap now. Hopefully he doesn't look for any sort of a move there tomorrow. A little bit narrow on the entry into Les Combes. Could compromise the exit here with the number 16 now looking for any sort of overtake that they can. The 221 really being pressured, going a little bit wide here through Bruxelles. Trying to do anything they can to hold ahead of the number 16. Coming through Double Gauche now. Tamara seemingly very, very slow through the corner. Pina now up the inside. They saw the gap, they went for it, and Pina in the number 16 ACCI number 16 Ferrari makes their way up into 8th place. I do agree. The in-game livery editor is a little bit limited, but seemingly there's been some issues with Awesome Sim Racing, so car still does stand out, of course. Nothing's better than a custom livery, though. But, you know, it's all about making do with the tools that you do have. So when you think about it that way, it's very, very respectable. Um, Vesely is now right on the back of Zach Webb. The 757 Motorsport Mustang is leading the way in P1. That 26 Ferrari is piling on that pressure, really just trying to get back past him. The next round of donation penalties should be coming in any time now. They might have already come through and I've just missed it. As the number 26 looks for a move, tucks back in behind the Ferrari, really just opens up the exit, trying to put that power down as early as possible to make that move happen. Through Eau Rouge and Radion, actually, they go. Number 26 Ferrari holding it at the slipstream. There's been another car parked at the top of Eau Rouge and Radion having a bit of a spin. Definitely has put Vesely off because that gap has now opened up to half a second. And Webb lives to fight another day, holding on to that first position. Kola has Gorzelnik just behind them in the number 21 Ferrari. Just about a quarter of a second as they come through Blanchimont now. Holding on to that 26th position. Going a little bit wide into the bus stop, holding into the exit, the number 21, seemingly looking to cut back, getting that faster exit. The Ferrari just holding on, looking now to the inside of the source, tucks back in behind, trying to scare the 183 into a mistake, which it looks like they have done. They've got a little bit wide at the source. 21 now, looking to get their nose into this battle, decides to back out. They're going through Eau Rouge and Radion, so this will be a brilliant chance for them to make an overtake. If the McLaren does mess up a little bit, they go quite wide, seemingly on the exit. The Ferrari really tucking into that slipstream, maybe looking for a little bit of a move now. Looking up the inside into Les Combes, who's going to be later on the brakes. They're side by side, coming through the corner. The number 21 Ferrari holds it around the outside. Beautifully executed move from Gorzelnik, moving the 21 up to 26th position with BWE Racing. Very, very well executed move. Patient to get by and really just use that opportunity when it opened up. Clear, decisive, precise, fantastic overtake. We're going back now to the fight for the lead with Vesely just behind Webb, holding them up, and Ryan Cheshire in the 3-4-3. The entire podium grouped back up after about an hour and 20 minutes worth of racing action. Cheshire has caught up after Webb and Vesely's kind of battling, has whittled that gap down now. So all three of them are within a second. The Ferrari looking for a move up the inside into Les Combes. Doesn't make that happen. Zach Webb kind of knew that move wasn't on anyway and has kept Vesely in the number 26 just behind as Cheshire is really trying to hold on. It looks like there has been a bit of an incident a little bit further back with Zero Alexandra off the track. Espinoza also off at the bus stop, nearly taking out a car as they rejoin. I would show instant replays, but we have got a three-way battle at the front of the field. So I'll just leave it to your imagination to figure out how the drivers ended up there. I mean, look at this. The top three within about a quarter of a second of each other, like an actual train coming through these corners. With Webb holding off Vasily, who's also trying to hold off the chasing Cheshire just behind in the number 343 Ford Mustang. I mean, Webb is doing a fantastic job at holding these drivers off. He's just positioning his car exactly where it needs to be all the time. But Vasily and Cheshire, I mean, they're just going to get impatient. Cheshire now looking for a move up the inside. He's on the grass, coming through some of the faster corners. Into Blanchard on they go. Cheshire's made his way up in second place, rallying the Ford Mustang, and he's managed to get by into second. Vasily now looking around the outside into the bus stop, but Cheshire, decisive move, incredibly risky, but it's paid off. He's up into second place, now chasing down Zach Webb for first. So, as a reminder, these donation penalties are done on the 55th minute of every UTC hour. So, when it hits 3:55 PM UTC, which I believe is currently UK time, regardless, 55 minutes to the hour, we're going to have the donation penalties come through. You can always check out the Tiltify link, which I feel like has gone missing somewhere. We've had some more donations come through as well. We're currently at £469 nice pounds and 71 pence. Let's see just how high we can get it. We're only 4 hours in, so let's see just how high we can push that. Yeah, definitely see how hard we can push. So now falling back behind, I think maybe just trying to, you know, duck out of the way, knowing that Cheshire is a man on a mission now, trying to get first place. We've got Rizanov's in a 777 with Dayton behind in 52, looking to chase through Eau Rouge and Radion. The gap opens up a little bit more, about 0.4 of a second between the two as they make the rapid climb up the hill, over the crest, down the Camel Straight they go. Dayton has about 0.3 of a second gap. The Lexus is still, he seems unfazed. The McLaren looks to the inside, swoops back. We've got another car, seemingly with internet issues, sliding all over the track. I'm going to go back now to Webb and Cheshire, because I have a feeling as though a move's going to get made here. Cheshire looks for a move up the inside of the bus stop, but tucks back in under the braking, trying to throw Zach Webb off the pace as he's holding him right behind Cheshire into La Source. Webb defends the inside, Cheshire to the outside. They're side by side coming through La Source. Cheshire on the left-hand side, just trying to get as good of an exit as they can. The two Ford Mustangs wheel to wheel. It looks like Ryan Cheshire just has the nose ahead. There's a little bit of door banging coming through Eau Rouge. They go now. Webb tucks in just behind, coming through the two very fast corners. Cheshire making a very, very lovely move into first place. And it looks like Vasily maybe is also looking for a bit of a move around the outside. On the left-hand side of the Camel Straight they go. A little bit of a bad run through Eau Rouge and Radion for Webb. Makes him lose 2 positions in the first sector of the track. He's still sticking with the 2, but this is a big development. Cheshire now P1, Vesely up in second place, and Webb falling down to third. Got Tomorrow down in P9, a little bit wide on the exit of La Source, with Blommen in the number 767 McLaren making their way past before Eau Rouge and Radion even happens. The top three, again, are still very, very close to each other, but tomorrow makes it a lot closer, with Blommen just ahead, about 2/10 the gap between them. It's been another yellow flag for Zero Alexandra, who is parked on the track, on the exit of Speaker's Corner, seemingly just not wanting to move, for Phoenix Racing VTuber Academy. So unfortunate for them. They might have even had a bit of a hardware issue. Looks like they're getting moving again, which is great for them. They're down in P50. So let's see just how high the VTubers can climb for the rest of the race. The number 266 BMW down in 50th place. Razet Dayton for Focus Racing Team has Espinoza in the number 50 Rover Racing BMW just behind, about 2/10 of a second, quarter of a second between them, as they come now through Double Gauche. Dayton holding on quite nicely through the corner. Espinoza still chasing him down, trying to make sure that gap can stay where it is. About 1/10 the gap now between Espinoza and Dayton. Espinoza to the inside, into the bus stop chicane. Can't really get that BMW stopped in time. The number 52 McLaren looking around the outside on the exit of the bus stop chicane, and makes their way right back past Espinoza later on the brakes, but ultimately can't really get the car slowed down in time, and they're still in P14, but they are, crucially, still very close. A little bit of a snap of oversteer from Dayton on the exit, seemingly a little bit of a wobble from them. Espinoza still chasing them through the uphill section of the track with Espinoza is practically pushing Dayton down the Camel Straight. Dayton on the left-hand side. Espinoza looks to the right, tucks back into the slipstream, looks for a little bit of a late send up the inside. They are wheel to wheel coming through Les Combes. The BMW still has that inside line, but ultimately that McLaren holds on for now. Things are getting super, super heated in this battle for 13th place, with nearly 20 hours left to go in the race. So if we can find the Tiltify link somewhere, we should probably get that pinned in the chat till the end of the stream. I think we had it pinned earlier. Yep, thank you very much for whoever pinned that. So, having another look there, still at the same amount. So again, we are raising money for Mind, the mental health charity. Very, very important to me personally. I think they do some fantastic work all across the UK. Again, we are in a very, very difficult time, I think, in the whole world. It does make it quite tricky to, just exist sometimes. So hopefully we can raise plenty of money for a great cause, and I think more importantly, just remind everyone that it is okay to not be okay, and that sometimes, asking for help is the strongest thing that you can do. So hopefully I can remind you all to, reach out if you do need that help, if you do need that support, because charities like Mind really, really help people to, exist and just to thrive. So thank you again to everyone who has donated so far. We're nearly at that £500 mark. We're 20 hours left to go in this 24-hour endurance race. So let's see how high can we push that donation. Let's keep it going through, and let's cause a little bit of chaos. As a reminder, every 55 minutes to the hour, every hour. So that's going to be in about 40 minutes time. The next lot of donation penalties will come through. As a reminder, check the incentives on Tiltify, which is the platform we're using to raise this money. Depending on the amount of money you raise, or that you donate, sorry, you can choose to add or remove ballast from a car, as well as adding and removing penalties from a car. You can add them to any of your opponent's cars, or to your own car if you want to be super funny. We cannot remove in-game penalties, and we can't remove the penalties that are given by the ACM stewarding team for breaking ACM rules, and generally, not driving with respect, pretty much. So if you punt someone and get a penalty for it, you can't pay to have that removed. The only penalties that we can remove are ones that other people donate to give. So again, it's all for a great cause. So get those donations coming through, and let's cause some chaos. Svetlakov has had a little bit of an issue here. They're down into P18. Mark Mass in 22nd. Number 75 trying to chase them down as well. Going to focus now on this battle between Morev and the number 16 car of Pinner, who currently has the fastest lap of the race, a 2-minute 17.695, chasing down the 887 Aston Martin. The Ferrari is hounding the back of the Pavel Morev, who is at the wheel of the Ueno-san Aston Martin Vantage. Pinner is still holding on to the back of Pavel Morev, who is just climbed through Orange and Marion. They're now blasting down the Camel Straight. The Ferrari looks for a move to the inside, tucks back in behind the Aston Slipstream, now looks again to the inside of the Aston, who breaks a little bit later, so the Ferrari can't really make that move. Decent defending from the 887, who now has a Ferrari looking around the outside, just trying to find any gap that they can. Now to the inside for Bruxelles. The two cars going side by side, door to door, wheel to wheel. The Ferrari just able to get a little bit more power on the exit. So that's Pinner in the number 16 up into 7th place, which is a very, very well executed move from them. They found the gap and they managed to get the car through. Very, very close, very, very exciting racing between the two cars. Very, very respectful driving that we're seeing here as well. A bit further back down the grid, we've got the number 567 of Jacob Fitzau being chased down by Dayton and Espinoza, who have been fighting for quite a while now. Fitzau, of course, about 3 seconds behind the top 10 of Rizanovs in the 777 Lexus. He's got a couple cars just behind him. We've got a few cars coming in the pit lane as well. Currently, the highest position fight that I can see on my my race control panel. So yeah, get involved, everyone. That's what this race is all about. So even if you're not driving, you can still help or unhelp. I don't know what the word is. I've lost the word. But you can put barriers on our drivers by giving them things like penalties and extra ballast just by donating. So you can show support for your favourite team and kind of help a little bit when it comes to the fights that our drivers are having. Thank you all for being here and for donating. It looks like there was a little bit of contact between the two potentially. Fitzau and Dayton having a little bit of a nudge there. That is Dayton looking to the inside. Yes, it was. Dayton to the inside of La Source and makes that move stick into the hairpin. The two look like they might... Well, it was like they were going to try and go side by side through Obu from Radion, but we have seen on multiple occasions why that doesn't really work very well. Dayton seemingly going a little bit off-piste there with... now Espinoza and Fitzau chasing down behind them. Fitzau is he's just behind Dayton, who had a bit of a move to the inside to try and defend from the chasing McLaren and BMW. We've also had another, some more stuff coming through now. We've got a drive-through for another car with a £15 donation, as well as an anonymous donator giving £30 to remove 40 kilograms of ballast. We're now at £484.71. Let's see if we can get that to 500 by the time the dono penalties roll around. We've got Sim Racing Belgium's Samin with PRT's Hans-Peter Jurgens, who's made that move in the 386 past the 98 car for 28th position. The two cars seemingly very, very close to one another. Johnson in the number 74 falling a little bit further down the grid. Webb might be in trouble here as Dekanek is looking up the inside through Lefania or Piff Paff. I prefer Piff Paff. Piff Paff sounds funnier. Very, very committed move there, and Webb seemingly not putting up too much of a fight to keep them behind. Again, this is a marathon. This is not a sprint, so fighting for every single position, tooth and nail, maybe is not worth it at this point when we've still got nearly 20 hours left of the race. Back to the battle between Dayton and Fitzau, who is fallen just behind. Espinosa is now in the pit lane. Maybe just trying to stay aligned with their strategy. It's out just over half a second behind Dayton in P11. Trying to just stick with him for now. Zach Webb still chasing down Dekanek for third position in the 666 Ford Mustang. We're nearly on an all Mustang podium. Vaselli is the only driver on the podium to only driver in the top 4 even to not be in the Ford Mustang. Currently holding second place, 4.4 seconds. The gap between the leader Ryan Cheshire in the 343 Ford Mustang, with the number 26 just behind. I shall leave you with this battle for P3, and I will be back in the comms box in just a moment while I sort some stuff out on my end. Got the drivers now coming in for their pit stops. Trying to keep on with that pit cycle. We've got Webb, who's still leading the way. The driver order is going to get shuffled up a little bit. Ryan Cheshire currently in 10th position. He's climbing up the order because of all the drivers who are still in the pit lane. Trying to make his way through these lapped cars. Probably going to cause him a little bit of grief, especially coming through Eau Rouge and Radion, as long as the driver only tries to let him through. Well, that was a little bit of a brash decision there. Very bold move to let him through bottom of Eau Rouge and Radion. But, I mean, I guess he did it safely. Number 14 now has a 16, sorry, now has a 5-second penalty. Webb leads the way from Picano and Pina in the middle of our pit cycle. Alex Brogy for the ISS Racing team is currently in P14, just being chased down by Jelinek in number 767. Mark Mass going side by side now with Jurgens through some of the faster section of the track. Through Blanchimont they go. Mass just ahead, clouts that inside curve, but it looks like Jurgens... I mean, it looks like he had all four wheels definitely off the track when he made that overtake. Svetlakov pulls into the pit lane, and Mass now just behind him is really just trying to hold on. I would assume that Mark Mass would want to try and get past Svetlakov after the incidents that they'd been involved with earlier. It looks like Morozov was trying to... That's not Morozov, that was a completely different car that I was looking at. That's my bad. As Mass and Jurgens have made their way through past Svetlakov, Mass is now trying to chase Jurgens back down. Dayton and Fitzau both leaving the pit lane. About half a second between the two. Dayton just managing to hold on to that lead. The number 16 now has a drive-through penalty as they are making their way through the pit lane. It's definitely going to put Ryan Cheshire through everything. Rizanov's in the 777. Makes their way through Eau Rouge and Radion up in a second place, absolutely forgetting that the track limits even exist at the end there, with some of the other cars just behind them, I think, being lapped traffic, including the one that's ahead of them. Got a Ferrari, I think, that is blinking in and out of existence. There's a yellow flag for Pinner, but again, it's the game being weird because he's in the pit lane. We've got Brogy at the moment with the 767 of Jelinek and Espinoza and the number 50 just behind the battle for P10 now, about half a second between each of the drivers. Mark Mass, I believe that is being lapped by these cars, and they are probably going to try and use him as a tactical defense tool. Brogy nearly forces Mass off the track, barely gives him enough room on the outside of Campus Corner there on the exit to keep his wheels on the track. As Kirkham now for Arachnid Racing, or is that Medio? I can't really tell. The number 40 car of Adamczyk is now back on the track, but it could be a different driver. I'm being told two different things by two different apps, so hopefully things will sort themselves out soon. It looks like the sun has definitely come out. The track is on optimum. It's heated up a little bit now. We're at 24 degrees, or the track is 31 degrees with 24 degrees in the air, so it's getting nice and warm. Pinner now still has that drive-through penalty. Having a quick look back at our Tiltify. It's another £30 donation from, I believe that's car number 841, getting 40 kilograms removed, and this has pushed us to £514.71. We've now made it over the £500 threshold. Thank you again. Thank you again to everyone for all the support, raising lots of money for a fantastic cause. Rezanov's in the pit lane. I thought it was a yellow flag, but again, it is just coming into the pits. Espinosa chasing down Jelinek for P11. Jelinek, respectively, also chasing Broggy down in the number 221 for P10. Really is trying to get those positions as quick as he can. Ooh, big spin there for Arachnid Racing, the number 71, having a big issue there. Having a look back at an instant replay, coming through Bruxelles, he's off the track. There's two cars that have already gone off, and again, coming flat out into a yellow flag, jolts the steering wheel to avoid collision with another car while keeping the throttle pinned, and spins the car out, which is, you know, unfortunate, but I can't say I wasn't expecting something like that to happen. Jelinek is basically being pushed through Blanchimont by Espinosa in the number 50 BMW. Looking to the outside, there's very little space given to him. The 767 goes a little bit deep on the brakes. Espinosa, lovely switchback move there. Jelinek braking a little bit later. The number 50 car braking basically at the perfect point, cuts back in, goes around the outside on the exit of the bus stop, gets that power put down, and that's Espinosa in the number 50 up into 11th place with a very well executed move. The number 16 car, I believe, serving their drive-through penalty, now going to drop some positions, so Espinosa is now into P10 with that, as Picaro in the number 30 Audi is also in the pit lane, so Cheshire is going to be hoping that that pit stop is long enough to get him back into the lead of the race. Then another off with Simon Wolf in the number 17, has a Mustang looking on his right, a McLaren on his left. Not really any space given the McLaren on his left, and it just straight up takes him out. I think that gap was always going to close, so that other McLaren trying to go by, maybe a little bit too eager to try and make that move. Ultimately, it has cost Wolf a lot of time, and the car's definitely been damaged by that. So Zero Alexandra also is still P50, but he could be making his way back up through the ranks. So most of us also had some sort of an issue there. Well, even more issues, it would seem, on the exit of Les Combes, coming out of Auberge Madion in our replay here. Down the Camel Straight, they dip their left-hand wheels in the grass, seemingly overestimating the actual width of the track. Coming through Les Combes they go now. Everything seems fine, and they just lose the car through the first part of the corner and just absolutely clout into the wall, lose the car again on the exit curb, straight into the wall, straight into the pit lane to repair their damages. Bruggy still holding down P9 with Espinosa 8/10 of a second behind, and Jelinek 7/10 of a second behind him. Cheshire back in the lead of the race after the number 30 Audi made their pit stop. Vaselli is still behind Cheshire by, the gap is open now to 11 seconds, with Dekanek and Webby just behind the two, about 5 seconds separating each of them. The highest position battle that we're seeing right now is on your screen, with the number 221 Ford Mustang, the number 10 BMW, and the number 767 McLaren, all fighting for position. Don't know what happened with Zero Alexandra there, but it was marking him as having a yellow flag, but he is up into P49, thankfully for them. Bruggy still has Espinosa right in his rear end. Basically able to taste the exhaust of the Mustang coming now through double gauche to try and make any sort of move that they can. But those are still very, very close to the 221 Ford Mustang, number 50 BMW, just holding on there. Through Eau Rouge and Radion actually they go. Espinosa still only about 0.2 of a second behind. I'd say the Mustang and BMW are both very, very good in a straight line. They lapped McLaren on the right-hand side, getting out of the way very, very nicely. Espinosa makes a big look to the inside. Is there going to be a send here made? Yes, there is. Espinosa makes a really big send, makes their way up into P9. Excellently done there from Espinosa, opened up that gap on the inside and just purely went for it, breaking down to P10. Espinosa now having 9th place in the number 50 BMW, but that's not the job done, of course. There's always more to go on. We also need to pull up our spotter's guide, which has been kindly provided to us from some of the other team members here. Okay, we're back and we're looking again at this little fight here. We've got the 221 and the 767 very, very close to one another. The 767 about a quarter of a second back from the 221 Mustang, to very, very close to each other. Pinner again has the fastest lap of 2:17.265, so that number 16 Ferrari is the fastest car on the track at the moment. And they've got about 10 seconds to catch up to Glanville just ahead in the 567 McLaren as well. Let's go a little bit further back. The number 848 of Nagaitsev with Marchand just behind. The Lexus made a really, really decent move. It would seem as there is a BMW or something. That might have been Chowdhury, or Threadgill, sorry, who was had a bit of a moment there and has nearly taken out one of the other cars. Zero Alexandra, the team principal for Phoenix Racing VTuber Academy, down in P52. Hopefully they can make their way a little bit further up the grid. .221 of Brogy still holding Jelinek back. Number 767 McLaren is sniffing around for any sort of opportunity that they can get. Really is trying to open up the corners behind them, or in front of them, sorry, to really try and get as much opportunity as they can. Taking a little bit of a narrower line on the exit of La Source, trying to get their nose in alongside the rear quarter panels of that Mustang. Through Eau Rouge and Radeon they go, with the 767 still chasing down the Mustang. Basically straight lines it over the over Radeon. Gap opens up significantly. I think there was a bad run through for the McLaren, who's now fallen back to about a second behind them. Going back a little bit further, Tuan Kiemel is currently battling with some of these other cars. The number 69 Aston Martin gets by, and I don't even know what happened there. Vorbush still fighting with him in that McLaren, just trying to scare him using those flashes. 93 defends to the inside. The number 17 looks to the outside. He nearly takes out the number 69 Aston Martin. A little bit of a wobble there. Zero Alexander again having a little bit of an issue coming through Blanchimont. Vorbush looking to the inside through Eau Rouge and Radeon, doesn't make it stick because, you know, it's Eau Rouge and Radeon. And as Kienel starts to pull away, Vorbush is just left in the dust down in P51. Oliver Flynn for 757 Motorsport and the number 793 has Zelnick just behind. I think they've just exited the pit lane in P28. Bianchini in the number 204 has Malishev in the 222 McLaren just behind him. We've seen these two tangle before. They both seem to be quite crash happy, as we've seen previously in this race. As we've got 204 still holding on to the inside of Double Gauche. Breaks very, very early. Malishev is now past. Looks like Bianchini basically just let him past, knowing that the... again, it's a long, long race. Marcin Adamczyk currently under pressure from Jurgens, who is alongside him. The Mercedes and BMW both fantastic in a straight line, but the Bimmer is ultimately going to lead out. Adamczyk tucks in just behind, and that's Jurgens up into P19. Webb and Bezalov in the 506 McLaren are now having a bit of a tussle. Bezlhov really just trying to open up the exit. There's a little bit of contact between the two. The McLaren pushing Webb on the exit of the bus stop chicane, and really just trying to hound him for any sort of position that he can get. Coming through the source they go now, really just kind of copying each other's lines. It looks like Bezlov was got a little bit wider on the exit, looks at the inside through Eau Rouge, backs out because he knows that this is basically flat out and all these GT3 cars have got enough downforce to make it through. The McLaren seemingly getting a better run through it, pulls to the left-hand side, over the camel, straight they go. Bezlov is around the outside Webb, trying to hold the inside line to look like they're about to go side by side through Les Combes, but ultimately Webb has to back out. Seems to not put up much of a fight as Bezlov. It's a really, really good run through Eau Rouge. Radion makes their way up into P4. Damchik losing even more positions as Deshkov now makes their way up into P20, and Fluger has made some sort of mistake here. Let's go back and just kind of see what happened. So coming through Les Combes they go. Everything is relatively okay as they now exit Les Combes, approaching Bruxelles, my least favourite corner on the track. Coming through the corner on the inside, and yeah, just loses the car on the exit. Easy enough to do, but they get off the track nice and safe, rejoin without anyone being there. Fine example of a decent rejoin for Max Fluger in the number 183 Apex GP car. Hopefully not related to the F1 movie team of the same name. I can't think of anything funny. I haven't seen the F1 movie yet. It is something that I have put in my list, but then I've never actually gotten around to seeing, so maybe someday. But Fluger now down into P24. I do only want to highlight all the action that is that's happening on the track. Speaking of, it looks like James Goff has had a little bit of an incident there in the number 77 BMW. Let's see that in an instant replay. Looks like he's just hit the brakes down the straight to let a lot of cars through. Makes his way through Les Combes and moves off the track to continue letting some of these cars through. Okay, I thought there was a spin. There was not a spin. He was just being very, very cautious letting these cars by. Broggie now in P10, still with Jelinek and Dayton chasing them down. Cheshire has opened that gap at the front up to 16 seconds. So we've had an off with Dayton as well. I'm just going to look back over that. Into Bruxelles they go. They look like they're going to go kind of up the inside as the other McLaren. That gap is closing. It opens again. There's more side-by-side contact. And, yeah, it seems like they just put in the wall by, I believe that is Jellyneck that had the, had that side-to-side contact with them. Rejoins nice and safely. 10 out of 10 on that rejoin. And they're now chasing down Pina, who's now up into 13th position. Glanville in the 567 is holding down P12 as well. Keep you on board with Espinoza, who seems to have also gotten past Brogy as well, up into P9. Car number 47 of Litvinov is currently last, and oh, there is a spinner for Donkatsu Lee in the Hatsune Miku Good Smile Racing, just as I switch back to look at car number 47, who's currently last of our running cars. They have a gap of nearly a minute and a half to the car ahead. But sometimes it's not about the position, sometimes it's just about finishing the race. So hopefully they'll be able to do just that, as it seems like we've had another issue up here with a couple of our drivers through Eau Rouge and Radion. So this is Dechkov that we're having a little glance at. Through Eau Rouge and Radion they go, and it seems like he just loses the car on the exit, and that seems to be about it. He starts to rejoin the track and gets almost right into the path of another McLaren. Manages to not get anyone else tangled up in that incident, just about. And he's now down in P22. He's surrounded by cars, but I think a lot of these are either lapped cars or cars that are lapping him, as we're seeing just behind. I believe that is Cheshire. That is Ryan Cheshire, who's currently the race leader, trying to navigate his way through a lot of lapped traffic. I believe that is the DMF car, and the number 200 of Galamini now, who is in P36, just trying to follow the line of the leader to see what they can learn from driving this. As Morchov, it was marked as a yellow flag, but it seems like nothing actually happened. And look back to the fight for P9 with Brogy. I think we've just had our donation penalties also applied. But some more donations coming through as well, including a stop-go penalty for car number 16. And I think that is one of our head stewards, Sashin, who is currently who's asked for negative 20 kilograms to car number 757 of Webb, who is currently in P5, trying to chase the podium after some shaky incidents from earlier, and maybe they're trying to go long on their tyres. I don't know. They've got some sort of strategy going on, and that should be getting applied soon enough. Pinner now in the pit lane, down in P15, and they're probably going to lose a couple more positions before exiting the pit lane. Leafy Trail in the Red Bull McLaren, being chased down by Galamini in the DMF Endurance Ferrari. Oh, hello. There's been a bit of contact here with Oliver Flynn coming down into the first corner. The Lexus goes in as late as possible, and that McLaren behind not slowing down nearly enough for the corner. Absolutely slams in the back of Flynn for 757 Motorsport. That puts him down into P30. Gallimini in P35 chasing down trail in the number 911 McLaren. The number 200 DMF car looking splendid as always as they chase down the blacked out McLaren just in front, which I'm sure probably has a Red Bull livery, but once again we have been experiencing some issues with our livery system that we use, Awesome Sim Racing, which has stopped us from being able to see some of the liveries. What we'll think about... hopefully we can think of ways of mitigating this in the future. Or Awesome Sim Racing can, sort itself out. You never know. How's Max getting on in 04? Let's have a look. Chimera Racing Team, the number 4 car currently being driven by Mac Threadgill, currently down in P55. Threadgill is currently, I believe, the fastest driver that they've put in the car so far, with the best lap time of a 2-minute 21.9. They're about 1 minute and 20 seconds off the next car, but they are doing a very good job as they're catching up to the Phoenix Racing VTuber Academy team. Thank you again to Darkness Within, Sashin, for the tier 1 sub for 7 months. Yeah, we're going to just keep our eye on the gaps, seeing the drivers that are fighting with each other, such as Dechkov and Mass. It looks like Adamczyk has also had some sort of an issue at the bus stop chicane, but he's got going again, so not that big of an issue. We've got Mark Mass again in the number 75. Another Chimera Racing Team car, currently chasing down P21. About 0.8 of a second, the gap between the two. Mass really getting as close to that inside curb as possible. Tell you what, I think next lap what I'm going to do is we're going to do an onboard and show you how the fastest driver on the track currently of Pinner, I suppose, who is currently setting some blisteringly quick lap times, how they're taking things. We get the interior cam. Absolutely flat out down the start finish straight, breaking around the 100 board and trailing the car in. I'm trying to think of a way to actually make this look good. This will be fine. Through Eau Rouge and Radion they go, cutting into the source very early and keeping the throttle pinned, maybe a little half lift as they get up through the. As they get up through Eau Rouge and Radion. Looks like there's a little bit of a technical sand screen that is being kicked up by one of the cars in front, coming into coming into Les Combes, taking it nice and smooth, turning the car in for the exit. Into Bruxelles they go, braking at the start of the curb on the left-hand side, trailing the car in, holding it as close as they can, kind of treating it a bit like a double apex, letting the car drift wide in the middle, braking at that inside curb at Speaker's Corner, really just using all of the track as they now come through into Double Gauche, braking at that orange marker on the fence on the right-hand side, taking it very, very wide before cutting back in a little bit later, using all of the track that they can. Now into Piff Paff they go, braking just underneath that overhead Total Energies banner. Through Piff Paff they go, really just trying to maximise the amount of space on the track and the exit here. Through Campus Corner, again braking at the start of that curb on the left-hand side, trying to keep the right-hand wheels on the exit curb. Through Stavelot they go, now half lift there just to get the front end in, and now we are at the fastest corners on the track, keeping the car absolutely pinned as we come through Les Curve Paul Frere. And into Blanchimont, the fastest corner on the track, which it seems like they're also taking completely flat out. They've gone a little bit off track, so they lift to not get that penalty, braking here just before the 100 board into the bus stop chicane. Still could have probably hit the brakes a little bit earlier than that, but otherwise it's a very, very solid lap from Antonello Pina in the number 16, who sets a 2-minute 18.902. That's what our fastest drivers on the track are currently doing. But we're going to take you back now to the fight for P9, a four-way battle between Espinosa, Brogy, Jellyneck, and now Glanville in the number 567 car. The position of car number 204... number 204 of Bianchini is currently in 35th place. Here they are. Absolute Motorsport providing us with some absolute cinema. About to be lapped by the DMF. Wait, no, hold on. Is that a different car? That is a different car. I thought that was a DMF Ferrari. That is not. It's actually one of the leading cars. They're currently 35th place. Nagaitsev in the number 848 has just done an overtake, I think, on Marchand, who's been fighting with him for quite a while now. Going to go back to this fight here. In terms of how much we have raised, currently up to £582 and 71 pence raised for mine, with a couple more donations rolling in, including a ballast change for car number 50. As a reminder, the donation penalties are applied at the 55th minute of every UTC hour during this race. So in about another 40 minutes or so, we're going to see our next round of donation penalties rolling on in. We've got about 19 hours left of this race, and I'm going to be commentating and taking every step of the way through this race for the next hour and a half approximately. Espinosa also has a drive-through penalty. I don't know if that is for track limits or if it is a donation penalty. Espinosa's opening that gap to Broggie just behind, who has Jelinek and Glanville breathing down his neck now. A bit further down the grid, we've got Nagaitsev and Marchand, who've been battling for quite a long time. Two going side by side through Double Gauche into Piff Path they go. Alexis still has his nose in through Lefania, as Marchand very, very confidently is just able to get the car past, but he's drifted a little bit wide, and there's contact between the two. The 848 has just spun the McLaren around quite clumsily, I would say, through the Piff Path corner complex, which, you know, it's very hard to keep things going side by side through there, but they were very, very close to each other for quite some time, and it was only a matter of time before an incident would happen. And yeah, who could have predicted that it would be right then? About 19 hours left of this race. I've still got Ryan Cheshire leading the way, about 15 seconds the gap between P1 and P2. There we go, I figured out how to get the deltas back. I knew something was missing there. I previously said I did not like having Mark Massa's incredibly cursed livery on the screen, but I cannot deny that he is putting in a fantastic racing performance right now. I believe that is a BMW lapping them coming through. No, that is the number 204. As Adamczyk pulls into the pit lane, Mark Mass is now passed again. It looks like Medeo has had a little bit of an off at the Kemmel Straight. Doesn't look like much damage has been done to that car. Espinosa seems to be falling back an awful lot. I think that's just because they've pulled into the pit lane. Maybe getting on some new tyres, thinking that the dirty air was probably going to be costing them a little bit of time. So he's going to be moving back into P13. Got Dayton just behind him about 10 seconds, 11 seconds now. Broggie, Jelinek and Glanville still very, very close to one another. I'm going to put you on board with Alex Broggie. He's got a McLaren breathing right down his neck, coming through Blanchardon. Nothing has come of it just yet. Jelinek is very much letting him know he's there and he's ready to party. can see the McLaren inching closer and closer to that Ford Mustang, now looking towards the inside as they come into Les Combes. In the braking zone they go, the McLaren is still kind of alongside. Looking around the outside through Les Combes, he might still have the inside. He does not, he backs out. And he's lives to fight another day. Glanville now getting involved down in P11. Gap between them now sitting around 0.8 seconds. They're doing really, really well to keep up with this fight. Katora comes into the pit lane. Dayton hits the number 30 Audi, who's currently sitting in P6 with the number 16 of Pina just behind him in the Ferrari, holding on about half a second behind. Dayton is really just trying to... is he trying to unlap himself against the number 30 Audi? The two are side by side. There's a bit of door banging contact there as well. Couldn't tell if that was netcode or if that was genuine contact. The McLaren nearly loses it through Les Combes and almost hits the Audi. Just about keeps it together. But the number 30 car, currently driven by Artemenko, is holding down P6, but he's fighting with these lapped cars who are basically almost refusing to let him through. As Brogy comes into the pit lane, Jelinek being chased down still by Glanville. Back to Dayton as Pina is now getting closer and closer because of this kind of fighting with the number 30 Audi. Pina is right on the back of him as they come through Les Combes, not Les Combes, Piff Paff. The left-right corner complex. Waiting to see if there is a moment for him to strike. And right now seems to be the answer as Dayton goes wide. Pina just takes that space on the inside and absolutely shoots on by, coming through Stavilo on the exit of Campus Corner. Dayton goes wide through Stavilo. Pina drives past, and they've now got about a 15-second difference to Espinosa to pull through. Espinosa is now in the pit lane. Pina now looking to continue their run up towards the top 10. Brogy in the pit lane, putting the number 16 Ferrari now up into 12th position. Donation penalty crazy hour is starting soon. Remember to donate to try and get your team, your favourite team, either your favourite team or least favourite team. You can give them extra ballast, you can remove ballast from them, you can give them penalties and remove penalties if applicable. So keep your eye on the donations coming through. £582.71 is what we're up to. Past that £500 mark, let's see if we can get it to 1,000 by the end of the race. As a reminder, we are raising money for Mind, the mental health charity. In the modern world, there is a lot more emphasis put on mental health, and charities like Mind have they do a lot of incredible work, making sure that everyone is feeling supported and everyone gets the respect and the help and the support that they need to thrive as a person. So this is your reminder that if you are struggling, it is okay to ask for help. You are not alone, and you've got some awesome people like the lovely, lovely people that work at Mind to support you, to give you that help, give you that power to function, like yeah, within such a crazy world that we live in. I think sometimes these problems can go unchecked, and sometimes things can build up, and yeah, charities like mine just really, really help out. So all of your donations go to a fantastic cause. So please, let's get those donos in. Let's do a little bit of craziness on the track here. See how much we can raise for this awesome charity. Thank you to everyone who has donated so far. Let's keep them rolling, 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 rolling through. Going to look back to Razet Dayton for the Focus Racing team, the number 52, currently being chased down by Baltricitis in the number 41 Ford Mustang. Please correct me if I do say any surnames wrong, because I'm probably butchering them all really, really badly, and I would like to apologise just beforehand. He's the Mustang about a quarter of a second back on him. It's the highest position battle that we're seeing right now. That's the 204 BMW who's getting out of the way. Oh no, sorry, the 187 BMW of Thurau, who is now in 50th place. Dayton currently with Baltricitis right behind, 0.3 seconds between the two. Mustang is going to try and use that really good straight line speed to get closer to the McLaren on their way down to the bus stop. Through Blanchimont they go now. Mustang has all four wheels off the track, so they're probably going to have to lift to try and not get any sort of penalties. Mustang seemingly getting a little bit closer, but not close enough to try and make any sort of move. The McLaren is a little bit wide on the exit of the bus stop chicane. The number 47 car seems to have had a spin. Oh, and the number 12 of Pinner, basically spins and really just pushes Dayton off the road. Let's go into an instant replay. Our car in number 12, who seemingly has had a little bit of an issue at La Source. He's got the number 30 Audi just ahead of him. And I'm not sure what BMW that is, but he basically closes the door on him. And he turns in the number 77 BMW, just, well, drives through him like he's not there. He spins round and collects the McLaren of Dayton and the Mustang of Baltricitis, who has now made their way past Dayton, with the number 345 McLaren also parked at the side of the road, which is unfortunate for them. Looking back up towards Jellyneck for in number 767, with Glanville just behind him as well. About 7/10 the gap between them. Glanville's going to be pushing as hard as he can to try and narrow that gap down. Glanville's really starting to put the pressure on the 767 car. Gap is now down to less than half a second. Data now in the pit lane. Might have gotten a little bit of damage after that tangle with Pinner a little bit earlier on. He's got a lapped BMW, I think, just ahead of him. That is Threadgill in the number 4, who is just ahead. Seemingly not. That's not a BMW, that's an Aston Martin. I'm sorry my eyes do not work. About an hour left of my my commentary stint before you're back with Raven. I can't believe it's already been 3 hours. How fast time flies when you're looking at awesome racing. As Glanville looks for that move on the exit, but on the entry into the bus stop, they're side by side. It's kind of hard to tell which car is which, but I believe that is Glanville who's made his way past Jellyneck. Glanville now in the 567 up into P9, 9th position, with about a 26-second gap to Bergmanis, and there's 777 Lexus just ahead. Looking back towards the front of the field, we've got Dekanek and Bezalov in the 506 McLaren, chasing down the 666 Mustang, holding down that last spot on the podium. Dekanek seemingly is a little bit slower, maybe starting to feel the effects of the tyre wear now, as Bezalov is continuously lapping quite fast. Their last lap was nearly a full second faster, 8/10 between the lap times, Bezalov being the faster driver, but half a second between the 666 Kermit Motorsport Mustang and the number 506 of Bezalov in the... I don't know how to pronounce that. That team name, who's currently chasing him down to try and get up onto the podium positions. Ruslan Bezalov still right on the back of that Mustang. Through Les Combes they go. On the exit, McLaren looking for any sort of opportunity they can, trying to ruffle Dekanek's feathers. Coming through Bruxelles, the McLaren cuts back a little bit earlier than the Mustang, trying to get as much speed as they can. A quarter of a second now between the two. Bezalov is really starting to close that gap and really applying that pressure to the 666 Mustang. He's basically pushing him through some of these corners. Through Piff Paff they go. The McLaren is getting a little bit closer through the corner, but I think the Mustang's just able to put the power down better on the exit of some of these corners. The McLaren able to kind of keep that speed up, keeping up that momentum, which I think might be why Bezalov is kind of narrowing that gap down. But even then, the speed of the Mustang is just keeping him ahead. Michael Dekanek or Mikhail Dekanek is currently in 3rd place. Ryan Cheshire now in the pit lane as well, as he comes on to his 69th lap. So he's been doing a really, really nice job holding down the metaphorical P1 fort, as these other drivers are doing their best to try and fight for these positions. Vaselli up into P1 as Cheshire shuffles down the order from being in the pit lane. So unofficially, this is a fight for 2nd place. But if we're also considering that these guys are going to need a pit sometime soon, it's probably still for that last spot on the podium for 3rd. Bezalov using the slipstream of that Ford Mustang to his advantage, inching closer and closer, now alongside on the Kemmel straight, and it sounded like Dekanek just kind of lifted off there to let Bezalov by. It's like he knows that Bezalov is just generally driving a bit faster than him, and didn't want to try and defend it too much. Again, there's still a lot of race left for that position and then be handed back to them. We're only approaching about 5.5 hours of being into this race, and within this session specifically, we are nearing the 3 hour mark. In about an hour's time, I will be hopping out of the commentary box, and in will come Raven, who you've had for the rest of this morning. I'm just here to give his voice a little bit of a break, and to get back in the metaphorical saddle of commentary, because I've missed this. I've missed this a lot. Car number 918. Let's have a little look through. Car 918 is currently in P35. They're about 24 seconds behind the next car of Connor Moore, who is doing this entire race solo, which is an incredible effort. So we'll see where they finish by the end of things. 918's fastest lap so far is a 2-minute 19.0. They've been putting in a really, really decent effort so far, and yeah, they qualified quite well, I think. They've climbed up by 4 positions since the start of the race. Yeah, they started in 39th, now 35th, and they're probably going to continue their climb up the grid. It looks like Vasily has also come into the pit lane, so Bezalov is your provisional leader during this this pit cycle here. Mark Mass in the pit lane in the number 75 Chimera Motorsport car, the McLaren. He's now coming out of the pit lane onto Eau Rouge and Radion, well, onto the Camel Straight, I should say. Look back now to Fabio Gallimini driving for DMF with the 222 McLaren of Manishev just behind. The DMF car really doing a decent job. They are one of our biggest gainers in this entire race, climbing 17 positions from where they qualified. There's only a few other cars that have a larger number of positions that they have gained. The car that gained the most positions actually since starting is Oliver Flynn for 757 Motorsport, who I pan to right as he goes off track, who has climbed up 24 positions from qualifying. A lot of these drivers are very, very on very old tyres during their stint. Flynn has been driving for about an hour on these tyres. Manishev has made his way past Gallimini as well. Gallimini's also been on a pretty long stint. Manishev only been driving for 6 minutes on this stint, so fresher tyres might have been the reason why he's gotten right back past. Bergmanis and Vasily now battling for position. Bergmanis, another really, really big gainer of positions. They qualified in 28th place, and the 777 car is now in 5th, meaning they've gained 23 since starting. Both of these... Bergmanis has alleged, from what I can see here, has been driving for 2 hours in this one stint, as the number 26 driver has just exited the pit lane. So they might have that soon-to-be advantage of fresher tyres. Bezalov and Dekanek are now also in the pit lane, so Webb is going to probably end up leading the way. Joel Kelly for RSR has hopped into the 343 car, so we're now starting to see, I think, the first big driver changes up and down the grid. Artemenko currently leads the way, but is still yet to pit. They're about an hour into their stint, so it's likely they'll be boxing on the next lap. Do a quick check of our donations, see if anything else has come through. £15 donation to get 20 kilograms removed from car number 918. We're nearly, I believe, at £600 here. 597.71. So yeah, we are very fast approaching 600. Let's see if we can get to 1,000 by the end of the race. I'm sure we can. We can. Maybe we can even hit 2,000, 3,000. We've raised plenty of money for charity before. Let's see if we can do it again, guys. Come on. Maratz makes their way past Bezelhov, who maybe got held up by the other McLaren there, who was leaving the pit lane. A lap traffic, I believe. Heiko Dragon for Slow Shark Racing is currently in P38, being chased down by Bielinski in car number 918 for Flying Force Racing. Another really, really nice looking livery. The black and pink are very striking. Much like the band Blackpink, who are also equally as striking. Galamini in the pit lane. Strange on the exit for or the number 98 of Sim Racing Belgium, side by side with Zach Webb's Mustang, who I believe has also just come out of the pit lane. Now with Cyborg's number 40 Mercedes, and it looks like we've had a little bit of an off here with Zentolin. See if we can catch what happened here. It just looks a bit slow. I think he must have had some sort of big crash because of the way that front bumper looks. He's driving incredibly slowly, and he's pulled off the track. He's in the pit lane. Dechkov also seems to have had a bit of an issue here. I don't really know where is this. Oh, it's at the top of Eau Rouge. Let's have a look at what Dechkov got up to. Exit of La Source. Whoa, don't know what happened there. Must have fast forwarded. Dechkov coming through Eau Rouge and Radion. Up he goes now. There's 1, 2 over the curbs and just up the hill. Loses the car, holds the brakes, bang into the wall. And yeah, really not the best way of taking that corner from my personal experience. That's Dechkov in P17 now, the number 95 McLaren for Oreo Pound Sabrina. Currently 4 seconds off the next car, and probably with substantial damage to the car after a bit of contact that was quite huge. Bergman's, I saw that was a yellow flag, not a yellow flag. Bezolov looking around the outside of Maratz in the number 26. Ferrari manages to make that move, stick around the outside. Maratz is still going to be holding it down, but yeah, ultimately I think that is Bezolov up into second place for now. Artemenko is just holding on to first, trying to go as long on their stint as possible. Again, they've been driving for an hour. I'm going to leave you with this. Oh, Bergmanis is still in the pit lane. They're losing a lot of time. I'm going to leave you guys with this battle between Bezolov and Maratz while I once again sort some stuff out. Let's keep those donations coming in, and it looks like Slow Shark Racing has had an engine failure, which is why they were driving quite slow, potentially. I'm going to have to get a confirmation on that one, but we'll leave you with this battle for now, as I have to go sort out some stuff on my end. So let's keep those donations coming in, keep raising money for a great cause, and enjoy the racing action. Alright, so we have Marat's currently leading the race by 4 seconds provisionally, while we are having a few drivers that are working their way through their pit cycles. The RSR car, currently with Kelly behind the wheel, so behind the leader by about 42 seconds. We've got Bezalov, who's still chasing down the lead, about 3.5 seconds back. Everyone's starting to kind of settle into their own rhythms now. The gap's opening up between each of the drivers, so not too much action happening here. We're going to switch it back to Joel Kelly for the Bobstallion Drunkards, who currently have their car in P4, just ahead of Felinski, who's about 2 seconds behind in the next Ford Mustang, who currently has a fastest lap of the race of a 2 minutes 16.847. So yes, car number 18, it would seem, has had an engine issue. So Zentilin down in P40 at the moment. The car is still going, which is good, but probably not what they were hoping for. They've still gained 2 positions from where they started. Looking now at Connor Moore, who is one of our solo drivers today, goes a little bit wide and lets the Max Hustle Korea team right on through. But if you consider the fact that Connor Moore has been driving basically within this session for about 3 hours straight, and within the previous iteration of the server for 2.5 hours, you know, he's been driving for a while, so he's got a lot to do. Still about 18 hours left to go in the race, and he's doing a fantastic job keeping the car going for now. Looks like there was an issue up here with Van Saen. Number 112 seemed to have contact with one of the McLarens. I believe this was a lapped car. Looking at the inside into Double Gauche. And the Lamborghini goes onto the curb, kind of gets spat out by the grass, holds his brakes while the McLaren looks like he doesn't. Rejoins the track nice and safely when there were no cars present. The McLaren really just turning like there wasn't anyone there. Car number 368. Let's have a look. Well, there's no car 368 from what I can see, but there is a 386, which is Spangenberg in the Apex GP Turquoise team, which is not turquoise because of livery issues that we've been having. Currently sat in 16th place, doing relatively well. They're up 17 positions from where they qualified, which was P33. They're currently approaching 30 minutes in this stint here. Harold McDonald for Raceforge Esports has just made his way past Bianchini in the number 204 BMW. So that's moved him up to 21st position. The BMW is probably not going to let it go that easy. Still chasing him on the back. It looks like there may have been a little bit of contact with the inside wall at the hairpin, which is not ideal. Looking a little bit further up, it actually looks like some of our faster cars are starting to get closer and closer to each other. Felinski now has Kelly just about a second behind him, looking around the outside of a lapped car. There's a Porsche of some description. I can't remember what number Porsche that actually is. I believe that's Fusion in the 111 Porsche. I mean, fighting with that lapped car, unfortunately, has cost Joel Kelly a couple of seconds there. The Porsche really just not wanting to give him an inch there, as Fusion and Kelly seem to be fighting. Kelly seemingly actually unable to pass Fusion for position. Kelly seems to be really struggling in that Mustang. But up front, Victor Maratz for Carrion Racing being chased down by Bezalov in the number 506 McLaren. Let's have a look now to car 555. I'm still going to keep my eye on this gap on the leader. The 555 car is 555 car DSDF, currently driven by Stefan Nemec, who is currently in 19th place. They're up 18 positions from where they qualified, which is P37, currently about 20 minutes into their stint. We go back up to the battle for the lead as Marat and Bezalov are fighting tooth and nail on the exit of Stavolo here. The Ferrari has that McLaren basically inhaling his exhaust fumes at this point. Any closer, and he'd be in the engine bay. Bezalov, thankfully, getting through Blanchimont okay, despite the dirty air being generated from the Ferrari ahead. He's looking to kind of do a little bit of a cutback manoeuvre coming into La Source. Down the start-finish straight they go. The McLaren really just trying to use that exit speed to their advantage. Looks for a little move, and Maratz goes deep into La Source. That's Bezalov up into P1. So very, very decent move from them. Maratz might have just let him by, to be honest, to try and work together with him. Using the slipstream to get by him. It looks like there's also been a bit of a car that's come off there. The 201 has had a bit of an off at Eau Rouge and Radion. Yeah, I mean, we've got plenty of drivers that are still going. I mean, it's been quite a while for our drivers to be going, and we still have, I believe that's 57 cars in the running. So they're all doing a phenomenal job now, keeping their cars going for this long. About 6 hours into the endurance race, so nearly a quarter of the way through now. As Kelly seems to be falling back from Felinski after tussling on a few lapped cars. Now has Picano in the number 30 Audi just behind him. Potentially could be a problem sometime in the near future. Bezalov is pulling away from Maratz as well. The gap now about 1.4 seconds. Pagano still trying to hold on as Kelly is trying to make his way past Fusion in the 111 Porsche, who's really giving him a hard time. Again, I'm sure in the race these blue flags are advisory only and are not command flags as they are in qualifying. But Joel Kelly is now looking for a move on the inside of Double Gauche just to try and get past this lapped car, who does seem to just let him and the number 30 right on by after quite a while of Kelly and Fusion tussling. This has driven Picano in the number 30 right up to the back of Joel Kelly, who's currently driving the number 343 Ford Mustang. We're going to do a quick check to see what other penalties have come through. For the donations, we've had a £10 donation to subtract some ballast. We've had a drive-through cleared for £15 from an anonymous donator, as well as another anonymous donator giving them that drive-through that they then cleared. So we're now at £637 raised for the Mind charity. I'm only a quarter of the way through the race, so let's see how high can we drive that up. How much can we raise for this great cause while also making some really good racing happen. There's been an overtake there between Picano and Kelly while I've been having a look there, so I haven't been able to catch that, unfortunately, but I'm sure you guys saw it. I'm sure it was an absolutely mint overtake. Kelly now down into 5th place with the number 30 Audi just ahead. Kelly does seem to be struggling a lot in that Mustang. I know that back when I used to race on the same track as him, not that we'd ever be actually, fighting, I know that he was a lot more used to the Ferrari, so maybe he's trying to take a little bit of time to adapt to that to the Ford Mustang, which seems to be a new favourite for endurance races, being the newest car added to Assetto Corsa Competizione. A lot of teams really do seem to like it. But Kelly's now falling off the back of Picano. Number 30 Audi now holding down P4. Looking a little bit further back, we've got Vilius Baltrisaitis in the number 41 Ford Mustang. Currently being chased down by Joe McLaren, who is driving his John Ferrari. He is one of the biggest losses of positions from qualifying. He's down by 13 positions after qualifying on pole. There's only a few other drivers that have lost more, the biggest one of all being De Wolf in the number 50, who qualified P12 and is now down in P42. So Joe McLaren's going to be hoping he can push quite hard, get his way back up. He's even using the esports line coming through into Double Gauche as well. So still got plenty of race to go. Joe McLaren making his way past the Mustang. Very, very well executed move from him there in the number 16. He's now going to try and make his way back up through the grid. Folinsky and Kelly seem to have had another bit of a fight. Folinsky's made his way past. Let's see if we can get it on an instant replay. Folinsky just pressuring Kelly through Piff Paff. Kelly goes a little bit wide. Falinsky sees the gap, says thank you very much, looks around the outside of Campus Corner, puts the power down, tries to use that better grip. Through Stavelo they go side by side, and he's able to kind of open up the corner on the exit and just get better speed throughout the corner. That's Falinsky up into P5. Brilliantly executed move by the number 757 Ford Mustang, who now has Kelly still behind him, but you would rather have him there than in front of him. Quentin Van Sane now has Cybor in the number 40 Mercedes just behind. 0.6 seconds behind them, and there's been an incident with Maratz. Let's get that on an instant replay as well. So looking fine through Bruxelles. Through Speaker's Corner they go. I have a feeling as though they're going to have a bit of a moment through Double Gauche. That seemed like where they were. And they come through, and the lapped car that was there basically just drives directly into him, and yeah, really, really shoddy from that. From what I believe was lapped traffic that just didn't brake, maybe locked up potentially into the corner. Maratz turned like normal, and the lapped car was just kind of in the way, which is very, very unfortunate. But you know, that's endurance racing. Sometimes you just gotta roll with the punches. Let's go back to number 368 if I can find it. There's a 386. I'm looking at my list. I do not see a number 368. So unless by 386 you mean 36, unless by 368 you mean 386. They're currently in P16. 17 positions up from where they qualified in P33. Only 42 minutes into their stint. Don't actually know. Okay, yes, that's 386 that you're seeing on your screen. I don't see a 368 on the list, so something's happened there, I think. There might have been an incident with whatever 368 had, but I know that there's a 386 at least. So he's currently running in P16, and he's looking at maybe getting a couple more positions, but he is about 54 seconds off of the next car, which is number 52 of Kavala, who is holding down the fort, P15 in car number 52. Kelly and Falinsky again getting a little bit racy. Kelly's gone past him. Falinsky using that slipstream, almost pushing him NASCAR style down the Kemmel straight. Kelly is just parking the car in the middle of the road. Falinsky still has his nose up the inside. Through Les Combes they go. Kelly is just about able to hold on to the position. A little bit squirrely on the exit there, but just able to keep it ahead. Falinsky really piling that pressure on now, trying to make any sort of move that he can, looking at the inside into Bruxelles. Almost collision between the two Ford Mustangs, but just about making it work as Kelly makes his way through the corner, just able to keep it going there. In P5, Falinsky is so close, nearly pushing him through some of these corners. On the exit of Double Gauche, Falinsky's looking to the inside, but Kelly is trying to keep that door as closed as possible. Falinsky kind of opens up the gap a little bit, coming through. Piff Paff they go now. Joel Kelly is still holding on to P5, and as Falinsky again looks around the outside at Campus Corner, he's done it before, he'll do it again, trying to get a really decent exit, just opening up Stavelo as much as possible, trying to use that superior exit speed. He has got all four wheels off the track, but his nose was ahead at that point. The two are still side by side. Kelly up the inside, coming through Paul Frere as they now approach Blanchimont, the fastest corner on the track. Kelly's going to have to back out of that, and he does. He tucks in right behind Falinsky, but that doesn't mean that this fight is over. They could easily continue this into the bus stop chicane, but it looks like Kelly is actually lifted off to try and give a little bit of space. There's a few lapped cars that are looking to maybe get involved or use this fight to their advantage, as Felinski's just about able to keep the 757 Motorsport car going really nicely through there. So great overtaking move once again. It seems to be Felinski's favourite overtaking spot round the outside of Campus Corner. Just using that kind of superior grip that they get on the exit to just absolutely haul the car around the outside of Kelly's Mustang. Having another look to see any potential donation penalties. It's a £15 donation for that drive-through that car 386 now currently has, and that is a car off. I can't see what car that was, but it was a Mustang in front of them that's spun off the road. Thankfully, no contact made, so good for them. Albert Dreyer in Chimera Racing Team currently holding down 24th place in that hideous livery that I love so much, with Goshakov in the number 3 McLaren just behind them, the gap hovering around a quarter of a second there. These two look like they have been fighting a little bit because the game's UI did not catch up for a moment there. But Dre is going to try and open up the gap a little bit more. Gap's currently sitting around 0.6 of a second. So yeah, just as a reminder, at the 55th minute of every hour UTC time, we're going to have another round of donation penalties being added. So this is going to be the crazy hour, I believe, that we've just had. So as a reminder, if you can donate to our Tiltify campaign, supporting Mind, the mental health charity, you can choose to add and remove ballast from cars, as well as adding and removing donation penalties to cars. Depending on the amount that you donate, you can add or remove even more ballast or give more severe penalties to other teams. So I don't want to say that this is a pay to win race, but it's more a pay to hinder some of the other team's progress. And at the end of the day, all of the money that is raised from this race is going directly towards Mind, the mental health charity, who do some incredible work supporting mental health campaigns and giving people who suffer from mental health conditions the support and the help and the respect that they need and deserve. So charities like Mind do an awful lot of work to make sure people's make sure mental health is being treated, like real. I don't say real health, but if you have an injury, you get treated for the injury. But some people who suffer from these mental health issues don't get that respect or the support that they need, and it's seen almost sometimes a bit of a taboo subject. So the goal of Mind is, to just give those people that help, that support, that respect that they need and that they deserve. So let's get some money rolling on through, and let's support a charity. Mark, lovely is certainly one word that you could use to describe the livery. If I can be completely honest, I would be looking at any other car at the moment, but the gaps have opened up so much that there isn't really a lot to look at. We've reached that part of the race where where a lot of the drivers and the teams are kind of settling into their own rhythm. The the drivers have been settling into their own rhythm. Everyone's kind of finding their gap and yeah, just driving their own race. There's not a lot of racing going on now. Flynn and Dreyer currently on track. I know these two are long time ACM drivers, so it's cool to see them driving and racing against each other in this endurance race. We've just went over 6 hours into this race. Again, we could have been a little bit sooner with that one, but we've had some issues with stint timers, which is why we've had some things get delayed and other bits and bobs like that. Yeah. Andrea currently chasing down the number 793 of Flynn in a Lamborghini Huracan. Flynn is currently setting in some decent lap times, but Dreyer's last lap time was 1.7 seconds faster, so it's clear that Dreyer is a man on a mission. The number 75 cars lost 4 positions from starting in P19, while Flynn, who started in P48, has now gained 26 positions. And that's probably just from keeping their nose clean, staying out of incidents, and just being consistent. Flynn now ducks into the pit lane, which gives Dreyer that position back, which is a bit strange because Flynn... they had a drive-through penalty, that's why. And if I can look to see the... We'll have another anonymous donation for a drive-through penalty for car number 506. To be honest, Mark, I don't think I'd be able to guess because I've been out of racing for so long because things have just been so chaotic that I've not really had much time to do any proper racing. But I'm assuming it's probably the same team of drivers that are driving it right now and the same track that you are currently driving on. That's just my guess. Also, Mark, you say that you're slow, but I'm almost certain you're probably still quicker than me. So don't worry about being slow. I think all that matters is that if you can finish the race and say that you finished the race, that's an achievement in and of itself. I think the biggest achievement from this is being able to raise all this money for such a good cause. I'm going to quickly switch over to Picaro, who now has Felinsky behind him by about 0.3. Felinsky in the number 757 Ford Mustang, currently the fastest car/driver out on the track. Felinsky's last lap of 2:17.590, and that team's fastest lap of 2:16.847. Felinsky currently in the exact same position that they qualified in of P5, with Picaro down 2 positions after qualifying second place. Both of them are roughly similar in the amount of time they've in the amount of time they were in the pit lane for. So they're roughly equal on stints, which means their tyres are probably also very, very similar. Linsky now right on the back of that Audi, looks to the inside, into the bus stop chicane. Has the Mustang went too deep? It looks like the answer to that question is yes, as the number 30 Audi has just gone right back past him one more time. Felinsky cannot make that move stick. Now Felinsky's going to try to do whatever they can to get back that position, to get into P4. And with Felinsky's just doing some fantastic work. They were about 0.2 of a lap faster than Picano in their previous lap. So these two fighting is definitely going to be spicing up the rest of this race. We've got about 17 hours, 55 minutes left to go. We've got another 35 minutes before our next round of donation penalties kick off. Got a all-black McLaren that has went wide to let Picano pass. Hopefully they're not going to really get in the way of Felinski, maybe pulling to the side on the exit of Speaker's Corner, which it seems like they're doing. Letting off the throttle to let the Mustang breeze on past, which is very, very respectful and safe of them. Those are my favourite two words when it comes to sim racing, respectful and safe. Does that make me a bit of a boring driver? Probably, but I would rather be a respectful and safe driver than a disrespectful, dangerous driver. So... Cataldo has had a spin at La Source. Let's put that in an instant replay. I think they were being chased down by Jellyneck just behind them, and coming through the corner, they go a little bit deep, rejoin the track unsafely, and kind of turn themselves around on the nose of the of that blacked out McLaren, which yeah, not ideal. And that is a car that is you can't park there, mate. Looks like there's been another issue there for the 918 and number 74 McLarens respectively, who I think might have had a bit of a coming together at the chicane. Still looking at this battle between Picano and Felinski. 0.6 seconds the gap as they come through Eau Rouge and Radion. Actually, Picano is doing a fantastic job keeping that car up there. They're now one position up from where they started. Now that I'm looking at this livery, it kind of reminds me of Patrick from SpongeBob SquarePants. I'm not sure if that's what they were going for, but that's the vibe that I'm getting. Felinski currently still right behind them, about 0.3 of a second, the gap between them. With Joel Kelly 14 seconds back from Felinski for RSR, who seem to have been struggling a little bit in that Mustang. And Glanville has now had a bit of an issue here. Let's get that in an instant replay. Yeah, so trying to navigate this lapped traffic and just a bit of a bump and into the grass. It looks like the blue McLaren had to avoid the spinning grey and blue McLaren after that contact, and they're causing even more chaos here as Joe McLaren seems to get caught up in the mess. If we look through this corner, it seems like yeah, the grey and blue McLaren just absolutely demolished himself into the wall, and then that was after. Yeah, just hit him. Just really... man. Have a look over this stuff. It looks like the two are very, very close to one another. Coming into the bus stop chicane, Felinski might be thinking about making a move here. Makes the dive. Let's see if he can actually make it stick this time. He has gone a little bit deep again. Number 30 really just trying to... exacerbate that issue by making it so that he's really going quite deep. They're still kind of side by side coming into the source, but it does look like Felinski has got that position fair and square. Number 30 is still on his way, right up behind him, coming up through Eau Rouge and Radion they go now. And as they come through, Picano is just trying to use that slipstream from the Ford Mustang ahead to try and close that gap. Ford Mustang still has Picano behind. Mustang has some insane top-end speed. If we're looking at the actual speed trap speeds, Felinski's about 2 kilometers an hour faster than them at the moment. Bezlov currently holds first place, about 20 seconds between them and Stubner. The number 506 up 10 positions from where they'd started, so they've been doing a fantastic job. Looking lot of these other drivers have been driving for about 40, 50 minutes on their current set of tyres, or even potentially just they might have been even driving longer on these tyres and have only come in for fuel. But based on the current track temperature being 27 degrees, it has cooled down a little bit, and the drivers might be starting to feel the tyre wear at this point in their stint. Picano currently about 7/10 back from where they were. Harold McDonald for Raceforge Esports has Nemec just behind them in the 555 Ferrari. It's 7/10 of a second between the two, as Nemec is going to try as hard as they can to get that gap down. Looked like McDonald had a decent last lap, so we're about 9/10 of a second faster than Nemec, who is just behind them. Whether they made that overtake or not in that lap, I couldn't tell, but McDonald does seem to be a little bit faster in the 841 than the 555 was, if we're comparing their fastest laps at the moment. Goshakov is in the pit lane, as well as a few of the other drivers like Betkowski and Hugier. Zio Alexandra seems to have also had a bit of an issue through Stavilo. And, well, I mean, it has been an absolutely insane race so far. And joining me now in the comms box to take over as I rest my voice and grab some dinner, we've got Raven back.
Good evening, one and all. Good evening, Derek. How has it been? It looks like the weather's held quite well for the drivers. They've been off the hook, it seems, so I imagine it's been a bit spicy on track, hence the voice going.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, things have been super chaotic ever since things got started. The stream was a little bit rocky at first. I think my internet just decided it didn't want to internet anymore. But we got everything back working again, and we've had an absolute delight. The drivers have kind of spread themselves out a little bit more, which has been giving my voice a bit of a break for the last half an hour, because I've not really been much racing to talk about. You know, there's a few drivers that are quite close to each other, a few battles to keep your eyes on. Battle for P4, definitely, as well as a little bit further down the grid. A few of our drivers are still quite close to one another, but I am nearly spent, so I think we'll just have to do the same thing that we did last time, of just swapping the stream over. So the stream will be down for a brief moment, while Raven and I get ourselves set up for him to take over for the next couple hours, as we roll on into the evening of the Spa-Francorchamps race. So let me know when you're ready, and we'll get ourselves moving.
Yeah,
oh, that's a crash.
On stream, but that's fine. Yeah. If you just mute him, just give me a countdown and let me know.
I can't mute the Discord call on stream because I haven't set my OBS up properly, so everyone's going to hear this.
Okay.
Right, so I'm going to stop on 3, and when I say go, you start the stream. So let me know when you're ready to go.
Yeah, I'm ready.
Okay, so on